Here you are.
Hey.
Hey.
All right, we're recording.
Okay. Julie and Kent, go ahead and roll initiative for me. Rotund, I should say.
Oh
All right.
boy.
Yep. We had a couple folks jump in earlier, but where last we left off, you guys had finished off the evil adventurer, Harko Swornhold, that had managed to sneak his way into the city at the request of the Lord's Alliance, its representatives being Raynar Neverember and Jalister Silvermane. You cut the head off the body of the adventurer, stuck the part without the head inside a trash can, and left his dead Kenku guards in the middle of an alleyway, placing a half-eaten piece of bread in the middle of them, convincing the guard that somehow the Kenku killed themselves over a loaf of bread, and somehow a bystander got its head cut off and left in a trash can. You gave the head over to the Lord's Alliance to dispose of quietly, when in the middle of this discussion you heard a loud bang outside of your home, to discover that an explosion had occurred not more than a few feet from the manor that you had recently acquired. Amongst the dead included what appeared to be some Centaurum agents, a couple of innocent bystanders, and a gnome who Raynar claimed to have been an agent of his father's, Lord Daggle Neverember. He shared with you that he believed that the gnome was going to try to get to you, or looked like he was appearing to try to get to you before he was ambushed. Raynar shares with you that he believed the gnome, who was named Dalekar, was attempting to deliver to you the Stone of Galore for safekeeping, and he assumes that his father probably heard of what you did to rescue his son and trusted you to hold on to the stone in question. He shared with you that the Stone of Galore is an artifact capable of finding some sort of hidden vault in which there's supposed to be over, well, quite a large, hefty sum of gold hidden somewhere within the city, but nobody knows where the stone is. Upon further investigation, you learn that there was somebody who apparently limped away from the scene of the explosion over to the nobleman's estate. It's the Gralhund house. You made your way over to the Gralhund's villa, finding the entrances locked and no noticeable way inside. As far as the best way you could manage to get inside was to crawl through the sewers, mostly all at once, and end up coming out of the stables. Upon making your way to the manor proper, you were ambushed by a couple of shadow-like creatures, which you managed to dispose of, though not without suffering some strainage in your strengths. And do keep that in mind, your strength for some of you is still drained. And as you made your way in, further into the manor itself, you found a couple of dead bodies. You discussed the possibility, or Tunda, I should say, discussed the possibility that he was worried that the Zentarum might be trying to set you up, considering that what brought you to here was provided by Julius Zentarum contacts, and made a point to mention that you don't have to run headlong into this conflict, and conflict shouldn't always be the answer. Right after he made this big old speech, you opened the next door, found of at least 8 dead bodies strewn across this great hall, and 2 thugs holding bloody maces that see you open this door and move to charge you. So as we begin tonight, Rotund, what do you do?
Hey, Kill, real quick. My 6 initiative didn't get added to the turn order. I don't think I had clicked on my token.
Jen.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do? Uh, Assuming I know what's going on in the next room, I'm going to cast Bless on our my dwarvish compatriot.
Okay. You can choose 2 more creatures with that.
Oh, well then I will hit all our melee guys.
Woohoo!
Okay.
Don't mind if I do.
All right. 3 melee are blessed, which will mark this blue dot here. All right. Anything else?
Um, I'm just gonna move to here to you know, in case anything gets in the way or comes through the door or whatever.
Okay. Okay, you're up.
Alrighty, I'm going to walk up to this clown. Walk right over here, and I'm
All
gonna
right.
give him a booming blade.
Jumping over the nearby bodies, wrapped with your moonblade, you slash it down across him, hitting him hard. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh,
6 points. You cut across his shoulder a little bit. He turns and looks at you with the mace, ready to counterattack.
And then, hold on. Yeah, I'll just stay there. That's it.
Okay. Drelloff, you're up.
I'm gonna swing at the one K swung at.
All right. All right. 13. 13 does hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Alrighty. After Kay comes in with the initial swing, you follow shortly behind, coming in with your own attack.
I'm done.
Okay. He reels a little bit, but manages to stay strong next to the table, using himself to steady. Treverin, you're up next.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna move to here.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna hit him with firebolt.
Okay. 23 hits. The two melee come across his chest and his knees. He uses the table to steady himself before he almost gets knocked clean on top of it as the firebolt impales into his chest. He is reeling, but not dead. Julie, you're up next.
Sensing combat, Julie snarls. That's a combination of smile and snarls.
Okay.
Move there and strike him down with my greatsword.
Okay.
Roll a d4.
Right.
You do. All right. With the empowerment of Groton's Bless, you do manage to steady the sword, even though your strength has been sapped earlier, and come down hard across him. Go ahead and roll damage. And you do enough that you cleave just enough where blood spurts, and the body falls backwards, collapsing.
Oh, yeah. Conflict isn't always the answer, my hairy ass.
You hear the other one in the back say, right, I'll do you for that. And he'll charge forward. Not sure of himself. And he's going to try to attack Drelov, swinging his mace twice. 13 and a 6. Great start. You managed to parry both blows. You hear him go, oh shit! Rotundra up.
Just like that.
5, 10, 15, 20. I'm going to close and I'm going to smack him with my hammer.
Alright. $12 hits, roll damage. Alrighty. Panicked and scared, he is, and doesn't notice you coming in, as the second dwarf manages to batter him hard across his knee with the warhammer. He nearly buckles as you impact into him. Okay, you're up.
I'm gonna run around his rear here, and I'm gonna give him a booming blade.
That hits, roll damage. Alright. It came from behind! Alrighty. Dreloff, you're up.
Bring swing. Hits.
Yep. Not particularly high armor class, these thugs. Alright, he realizes he's surrounded and immediately begins to start realizing his mistake, but he has orders. Treverin, you're up.
Okay, let's do this. I am going to first. I'm going to pull out a bottle of water and have it at the ready,
Okay,
and then I'm going to cast this on him.
alrighty. He fails the dex save.
And if he starts to fall unconscious, I'll use the water to wash away the acid so we can tie him up.
Okay. As a reminder, if you're going to do non-lethal against him, you have to say so. But you do have the acid. He goes, ah, come get it! Ah! Julie, you're up.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna. Julie, not being a wanting answers because he feels like he's been played like a sucker, is going to twist his greatsword in his hand and strike him with the flat of the blade. Just a non-lethal strike.
Yep. You got a D4 you can add. That'll hit. Roll damage. Alrighty. He is not quite knocked out, but he looks like he's about to keel over. This creature, hurt and not especially courageous, drops the mace, throws up his hands, and goes, okay, it's enough. I give up. I give up. I don't want to die. Rotund, you'll be next in the initiative order to decide what to do here.
Let me see. He's disarmed.
He's disarmed. He's surrendering.
Why does he sounds like the king guy from Wreck-It Ralph.
That was what I was going for.
You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you?
You hit a guy with glasses.
All right. I'm gonna hold up my warhammer, and I'm going to basically just tell him, "You move, you die."
Okay, I got the picture. Unless anybody wants to stab, you're out of combat.
Nope. I just want to walk up to him and tie him up so we can ask him a few questions.
All right. As you're in the middle of that, I will share with you that in this grand hall, aside from the one you just killed, there were at least 8 other bodies on the ground, 2 of which seem to be in black leather armor. The other 6 looks like they're decorated in the house heraldry of what you would assume to be House Growlund. They're probably House Growlund guards. You also do hear fighting up these stairs.
Killing.
And surrounding the great hall, there are what appears to be there's this fireplace that has a family portrait above it, as well as wooden paneled walls that have tapestries and locked wooden cabinets that look like they contain fine dishes, silverware, and candlesticks.
Killy.
Mhm.
Hearing the noise upstairs, I'm gonna like say to the guys, "Hurry up, be quick." You know, let's question him or let's move on up. But I'm gonna go and attempt to give like last rites to the dead, but I'm really going to rifle through their pockets.
Make a sleight hand check.
Well, I'm not trying to hide it.
Oh, okay. And then, well, okay. In that case, make a deception check. Okay. Is anybody's passive perception higher than 13?
I have a 10.
Mine's 12.
All right.
What?
In that case, you pull it off. The rest of you see him kind of doing what looks like maybe some sort of religious last rites, whatever, on the dead bodies. You're not really paying attention to him. As you're searching through the bodies, unfortunately, it looks like anything of value has been taken from them.
Okay.
Hello.
I intently look up the steps.
So I go up to the guy we tied up and saying, how many more of there are you, and why are you here?
He says, there was a half a dozen when we started. We're under orders.
From who?
We're supposed to be guarding Mr. Floxen.
And is Mr. Floxen here?
Yes! He's upstairs. He's trying to get one of the Growlhunds. Keep them hostage.
Is he currently injured?
I don't know.
Well, if you're supposed to be guarding him, you should know if he was hobbling along or walking
We were
normal.
just supposed to prevent anybody from heading upstairs.
I think I'd rather have a conversation with Julie at this point.
Hey,
I will say, all right, well, you stay here and think about what you did. And
Yes,
at that,
Mom.
and at that moment, I'm gonna look over here and I'm gonna look for the most mundane, ugliest, chipped, not well made cup, chalice, fork, or knife. I mean, it could be bent, missing prongs that I could find.
You can find a couple of things. There is what looks to be an older knife. That being said, this is a nobleman's house, so even what's there is still somewhat a pristine condition. But there's some silverware that has lost a little bit of its shine. There
Okay.
is probably a goblet, which you assume to be probably an old family heirloom that looks like it has a chip. In fact, the goblet itself, aside from a couple of chips near the rim, looks to be pretty old actually.
All right, I don't want any family heirlooms. I want something that looks like just a plain, ordinary chalice.
It looks like a plain ordinary chalice with some chips, but based on the age, it looks like it's
Yeah.
quite old.
Is there any that's more commonish that would be used for like filling water glasses and stuff?
Yeah, you could see something
Okay.
along those
All right.
lines.
So I want one of those cups. Is it made out of glass or is it made out of metal?
The cup that would be used to fill the water, that's made out of what looks to be some sort of metal.
Okay. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna put it on the floor and I'm gonna stomp on it. Then I'm gonna pick it up and put it in my backpack for later use.
Okay, you take this metal thing out, you stomp on top of it.
Yep. I want them to look dirty, grimy, most mundane thing on that I have in my backpack.
Okay, done.
let's run up the stairs.
I'll remind this guy, you stay here, and we'll be back for you, and then we'll move on.
He mutters something under his breath.
I will follow Rotund.
Okay,
Or not
give me
Rotund.
just a minute.
Yeah, up we go. Charge.
Give me just a minute. I have to move your character tokens.
Oh, okay.
I need to move all his groups. Hang on, because now we're going to use the top left corner of the map. All right.
Oh, I see my token.
Hang on. Okay. As you round the bend of the stairs, at the very top you can see what appears to be a few more thugs who are in the middle of a very fierce melee with what appear to be a couple of house guards who are in the middle of trying to do as best as they can to guard some sort of door. And it's up to you to decide how you want to proceed here. There is also lying the floor the corpses and weapons of at least 6 other guards that are wearing the house heraldry over chain shirts. There are also the dead bodies of at least 2 men in black armor.
I want to try and mock my voice to sound like the guard and say, "Oi, the gig's up!"
Make a deception check.
Are these doors or windows here?
Holy shit.
Those are doors. And as you yell that out, one of the boys says, "Shit, we got company." So, go ahead and roll initiative, everybody.
That's the best stat I have is deception. I rolled a goddamn 2. But if I need to look at a shiny pebble, you better guess my smart ass knows everything about it.
In Soviet Russia, dice roll to you. Okay. We'll begin the round with the veterans, who, guarding the door, one's going to delay an action, the other 3 nearby are going to attack with their longswords in hand. And I'll just roll quickly through them. 3, 4. They have multi-attack. That's a hit, and that's a hit. Let's see. Boom, boom, that's a hit. And then finally, those 2 are hits. All right. Julie, you're up next.
Julie's going to. Can I get past the 2 in front of me?
Yeah, so long as you don't. I'll say it probably counts as difficult terrain to get pushed past your compatriots.
All right. I only need to get to here.
Okay.
And I'm going to attack this one.
Okay.
Wah wah.
Nope.
Oh wait.
That might have worn off though.
What's concentration on it? 1 minute?
Yep.
Okay, then it would have worn off by now. So.
And Julie's just gonna stay there, and not let him get past him.
Okay.
Gonna just basically crush him between the 2 forces.
Alrighty. Okay, you're up next.
I will run to Ha,
Okay.
and I will hit the Stug.
Okay. 11 will hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Wow. Okay.
Alrighty. You taking your sword, coming up or high around the end, you come into that thug through the back.
Oh yeah.
Alright, Trevarin, you're up next.
I'm gonna move past my colleagues here and aiming at the one Aver hit, which I think is this top one, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna hit him with firebolt.
Okay, that hits. Roll damage.
That's awesome. It's gonna be a long night.
It tickles along his neck. Alright. These 3, not being real happy about being flanked from 2 sides here, cry out a warning towards the south. Gotta go, boss, now! And they're going to turn around at the lesser armored-looking individuals behind them. 2 of them are going to go into UK, one of them is going to go into Julie. We'll start with the one going against Julie. 2 hits with a mace. 20 and a 19. Julie, that's 12. 8 points on the first strike, reduced to 5. 4 points on the second strike, reduced to 1. Total of 6.
Got it.
And then 4 attacks against K. 16 and a natural 20 on one of
16
them.
does not hit. I have 17.
All right. So there's 1 natural 20 that'll get you. You take 1 really, really nasty hit across the shoulder, and all the other attacks, with your patron in hand, you are quickly able to parry the rest of the blows. That one came a little too fast. So 12 points of damage from 1 hit.
Yep, I just did it. Oop, I'm actually at 4.
All right. Rotund, you're up next.
Real quick, would it be considering action? I'm just making sure it's not an action. If I equip my shield.
No.
Okay, so that's what 1 to AC,
2 to AC.
2 to AC. So 19.
Yep. If you go down to your inventory,
Right.
where the shield itself is, and click on the little eye symbol, it actually says you already have it equipped at the moment, so your AC is already going to be adjusted based on what the shield should give you.
Wait, I've been swinging 2-handed all night, Kill. I thought.
Have you? Well.
Yeah. I hadn't been wearing the shield. I was under the impression that. Let me just make sure here. Hold on. Oh, well, I didn't know that, but that's
That's okay.
That's my bad. Okay. Then if I'm sorry about that, and I did not know that's
I
how
coach it
that
once,
works.
so I'm not worried.
Yeah. All right. Well, then I'm gonna
Go ahead.
walk up to here, and I'm going to cast Shield of Faith on myself.
Okay.
And I'll link that for you.
And that'll boost your AC up to 19.
Yeah. and I'm going to wait to engage.
Droloff, you're up next.
I'm gonna go to here.
'Kay.
And hit the one right in front of me with.
Alrighty. 16 will hit. Alrighty. Taking the battle axe, you come in hard against this individual who reels, but is barely managing to stay on. Next up are the house guard that will attempt to push forward and finish off the rest of them. Alright. You watch as that one gets taken out. And then the one in the middle is very, very badly injured, but not quite dead. And the one at the very, very bottom is out. Julie, you're up next.
I attack the one in the middle that's still there.
Okay.
Oh, dang it. Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay. Alright.
Whack.
You are not your turn yet.
Oh.
Bursting out from a door to your south. You see an individual who looks like he's been injured a little bit, but he pushes, or rather, he pulls open the door, sees you standing there, Droloff, and goes, "Shit, out of my way!" And he will begin by making 2 attacks against you. First attack is a 23. He has no poisons on his swords at this point, so don't worry about rolling a Constitution saving throw. That being said, you do take the 7 piercing, plus, because he gets sneak attack, an additional 7 for a total of 14 points of damage on the first strike. Then he'll make a second attack with the short sword. 16 ties to the armor class, so that will hit. Take 8 piercing from that attack. So, don't worry about the poison. He currently doesn't have any poison on his blades. Okay, now you're up.
Deal.
I'm out. I'm 0 hit points now.
Alright, you're down. In that case, if you're down, he's actually going to step over you, and he's going to make his way over here.
Oh, even better. I will cast Mirror Image.
Okay.
And I will give him a curse, and I'll give him a hit.
Okay.
I
So,
guess that's my action bonus action. That's exactly what I'll do. Just those 2.
okay. Alright. I was going to say. I think that's going to be it.
Yep.
Treverin, you're up.
All right. Seeing that this guy came into the room, I'm going to kind of focus my attention on him, and I'm going to close my eyes and just concentrate real hard and hit him with this.
Ooh. Very interesting. Alright, we'll try the wisdom save. That's a failure. He reels back, going, "Ah, son of a, ah."
And
Alrighty.
because of that, I now know where he's at no matter what happens.
Smart choice. Alright. The thug behind here is going to do what he can to try to help his boss escape, and he's going to do a start by attacking you, Kay. So we'll begin with the first strike, because you do have mirror image. That's not going to hit. Second strike. That should hit, but you have
Yep.
that mirror image up, so roll a d20.
/ roll 1d20.
All right, 8 or higher with 2 duplicates. Actually, so you have 3
It's
duplicates,
3.
so it
It's
has
that's
to have
6 or
6.
higher. Yep. Change
right.
the attack to a duplicate.
All right. In that case, the attack hits the duplicate. One of your 3 mirror images is gone. That's all he can do. Rotund, you're up.
All right. So quick question, and this, I'm unsure on this. I know how mage magic works, right? And I know I
Mhm.
am concentrating on the Shield of
Shield of
Faith.
Faith.
But my question would be, can I use not Channel Divinity, but can I use a bonus action spell like Healing Word while I'm
Yes.
holding concentration?
The only way a concentration spell gets broken is if you either take damage and fail the Constitution saving throw, or if you cast another Constitution or another concentration spell,
All right.
or otherwise, cancel the concentration early.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to here.
Mhm.
I'm going to swing at him with
Okay.
the. Hold on. Let me just look at this. I'm going to swing at him one-handed with my Warhammer.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast Healing Word on Draloff.
Okay.
And that will be.
All right. 5 hit points back to Drelov. Drelov, you're no longer unconscious. The 11, by the way, does not hit him. He dodges out of the way.
Right.
All right. Then Drelov, you're up.
I'm gonna smack this son bitch upside the head.
Go for it. 14 is not enough. He hears the Warhammer coming, or the battle axe, coming, and he ducks just before it reaches his neck.
I want to move back to here then.
Okay. The house guard will. Well, we'll start with the one up top. He's going to attack the last thug. That'll hit. All right, he's dead. And then the remaining 3 are actually going to push forward. I have to send these guys to the back. They're actually going to aim their swords at the rest of you, and they'll say, "Drop your weapons in the name of the law. In the name of House Groutland."
You wouldn't
Everyone's gonna
believe
stay
if
back
I
there.
said we're here to help, would you?
Julie, you're up next.
They're seriously like telling us to stand down now that guy's down.
They don't know who you are.
Well, we're not in melee with them, correct?
You don't know. They are next to you.
Julie just holds up a hand as if to say, "Wait a minute," and walks south.
What?
All right, is that your turn?
Well, what do I see in here? And I'm gonna keep walking if this other door's open.
Wait.
The,
How?
the other door, I'll say, as you walk in there, the other door does not look open. In fact, it looks like somebody's been trying to pound away at it. And
All right.
at the
So-
moment,
all
it
right,
looks
so-
like you actually enter into a bathroom.
All right, but that door is all right. So whoever they're trying to protect is probably holed up in there. Maybe, I don't know. Is that what it seems like? Like that guy was trying to get in there.
It looks like he was trying to get in there. Yes.
All right, Julie will walk back and say he'll put his greatsword, back over his back and say, "Where's what the hell is the name of that guy that we're looking for? The guy who had the stone of galore. Stool Floxen. Floxen. Where's Floxen?
While you're asking this,
We're here for Floxen.
this gentleman over here is going to attempt to, seeing the images around K, is going to take the second choice and try to poke his way through. You know what? I'm just going to try to poke through K after all.
I don't like being poked.
That's not going to
Nope.
hit.
Wait, I
That
thought that
will
guy
roll
was.
your d20.
I thought that guy was down.
Nope.
No. Which I'm amazed that you walked by him without getting an attack of opportunity.
All right, that takes one of
Well,
my
yeah,
images.
no, I totally would have attacked him if I.
Too late.
Hence, while the rest of us were confused, there, Julie.
All right, so he attacks an image there then.
Yep. Yeah, because it's higher
All
than
right.
an 8 because I have 2 of them.
All right, okay, you're up next. Okay.
Dealio. I'm just gonna give another hit, I suppose. Nope. Fuck me.
Okay. Yeah, that's not gonna hit. Treverin.
All right. Because I'm kind of tired of seeing this guy already. I am going to smack him with all 3 of my magic missiles.
Okay. I have 12 points of damage. He reels, but is still standing.
Okay.
Rotund, you're up next.
Oh, we're going to take another swing at this guy. Actually, yeah. I'm gonna take another swing at him.
That hits. Okay. You cap him in the knees, like any good dwarf should.
Attaboy.
Drelloff, you're up.
See if I can actually.
I don't like that chuckle.
Okay. 22 hits, and you hit him hard across the legs. He staggers, and he's looking very, very much Costin.
Well, I'm done.
All right. He cries out, "Damn it, y'all! You owe me this!" And you see, if I can do the reveal area correctly, the door is kind of flinging open behind the guard, protecting it. You see a woman and what appears to be maybe some sort of half-orc. Half-orc, is that right?
You would know more than us.
That's what I'm double-checking. Yes, half-orc. A half-orc guard kind of stepped forward, and she cries out, "Finish him off!" Very, very, and she says that very, very nonchalantly. And as the veterans draw weapons to try to kind of push past the rest of you and get to him, he cries out, "Do what you want with me, but you know my compatriots will come after you for the stone." And at that, the rest of the guards will move forward and attempt to finish him off. That won't do it. The other guys in the back are going to pull out some crossbows. And all right, that'll do it. You watch as he cries this out, 2 crossbow bolts kind of go over your shoulders, Julie, and into his clavicle of his neck, and he just kind of collapses in a bloody mess on the floor in front of you. You're out of combat.
I get 7 HP back. Woo.
The guards will step back towards the door, and you see a noble-looking woman kind of peering out from behind the door, and she says, "And who might the lot of you be?"
We be the owners of the Troll Skull Tavern.
The Troll Skull. Ah, yes, I'm familiar with the place. More importantly, why are you in my house?
Ask the big blonde one.
You have something that doesn't belong to you. Where's the stone?
As you say this, the guard all kind of raise their swords in defense, and she says, "Stone? I don't know what you believe he thought, but I have no such thing in my possession."
I'll eat every one of your livers if I have to get that stone. Now, where is it?
Um, upon hearing that, um, eh, I'm gonna kind of like not sheath my warhammer, but I'm not ready to get into it with a household guard necessarily. I'd like a little more explanation first.
I'll remind you, within the code légale of the city of Waterdeep, the crime for killing a noble is death.
They have to catch you.
No, they have to catch you.
All right, so you sheath your sword, you say this out, Julie, and the guards kind of, as you bellow this out at them, hold themselves steady. They realize they're outnumbered here just so much. You see the half-orc kind of push past the lady out into the hallway, and he says, "I'd like to see you try, big man." Enough. The guard will be here any minute. If you don't wish to get arrested, I suggest you leave quickly.
I'm leaving quickly.
Oh shit! But in my mind, I imagine you said that and just dove out the closest window.
But
I'm leaving quickly.
before, yeah, I kind of just bow and nod and say, you're welcome for saving you, and quickly look at the our friend down here and see if I couldn't loot anything he has on him.
Go ahead and make a quick perception check. On his person. On his person is are his two short swords and about 100 gold. That's it.
I'll take the 100 gold and say, my lady, we were here for him. He owed me money, and I bid you adieu. And then I'll walk down the stairs.
Oh, I'm already halfway down the fucking courtyard.
All right. Raton makes his way out. Treverin, you grab the money. You run out. As they kind of walk out, all of you who are still kind of up here see the noblewoman behind the guard give a sly smile. What do the rest of you do?
I'm gonna grab Julie and try to pull him towards the stairs.
Julie, what do you do?
Julie looks about as angry as you have ever seen him. And he points his sword at the half orc. Well, he actually first he looks at the lady and he says, "Don't let yourself be lulled into a false sense of safety by this guard." And as he's being pulled towards the stairs, he points his sword at the half orc and says, "Another time."
Another place. All right. So are all of you leaving?
I'm gonna look at her and I'll go, maybe we could discuss this at a different time, lady. And I'll start like taking a bow and like trying to get her name.
She waits for you to leave.
I'm there.
Rotund, you are at least a good like 50 feet ahead of your compatriots. How are you exiting the house?
I will say very well. This is not how I intended us to meet, but if you wish, and I'll start walking down the stairs.
I'm exiting the house. Let me see.
I'll just drag you down that direction.
Yeah.
Door in the pantry.
You know what? Pantry door sounds good to me. Going through the pantry.
Okay.
I'm gonna kick this
You
guy in the
exit-
back of the head as we walk by.
The pantry door is actually boarded up, so you take a little bit of time to try to remove it. The rest of your compatriots make it down to you as you finish, and just as you begin to finish, there's a commotion in the front yard that sounds like maybe the guard just got here.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking out. I am out.
You head out the pantry door and where?
Back to the tavern.
Back to the fucking tavern.
And right before we walk out the door, I'm gonna take that little goblet out of my backpack. I'm gonna put it right there in the middle of the floor, and I'm gonna cast darkness on it, and then go out the door.
Okay. You give yourselves a little bit of cover, but you make it a good. Are you running away from the tavern, or are you walking away from the tavern?
You mean to the tavern?
Is it
It-
daylight or is it night?
It's the din of the evening. The sun is beginning to set. There are still people out on the way. In fact, there's a couple of them that look like they might be muttering to themselves as they kind of look around the tavern. As they look around the manor, excuse me.
I'm literally just straight up just walking as slowly and calmly as I can away from here.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow suit. I'll pull my hood up as far as you can go and just start walking.
Okay. While you just walking out?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Should have done that before I moved you over to the page. But all right, you walk your way out. As you maneuver your way around, you manage to avoid the guard, but you do hear quite a commotion behind you as you begin to make your way back home. It is the din of the evening as you finally enter into the house. What do you do?
Well,
What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Julie goes down to the basement. You can hear him smashing things.
Well,
He's really angry.
I literally think you're about to be confronted by the entire party. But so before,
No, I'm with Julie for this one.
What me? What was that?
No, I'm saying like, what the fuck was that entire scenario that we just walked ourselves into? Like, it was no one's fault. I'm just saying like, what the hell
Okay.
just happened?
Okay, my thing. You just threatened to kill a fucking noblewoman. You want to tell us why? What's so goddamn important?
She had the stone.
And
Says
what is the stone to you?
Julie yells, stone is key. Don't you listen to anything? Stone is key to whole thing. Money, treasure, lost dude, king guy. Everyone wants it. Everyone's looking for it. We could have had it. You walked out.
I never thought I'd say this, but I'm with Julie.
It was there. Julius is just beside himself.
And what did you intend to do with the noblewoman, Julie?
Well, kill them all.
Julie, I don't have a sign or a whiteboard big enough to draw out what would have happened if you had done that.
I could tell you they would have died. We get stoned, we leave. What? He shrugs at you. What?
Julie, you can't go around killing nobles in this city.
Ah, they asked for it.
Who asked for it?
First of all, Julie looks at you like, I haven't killed a noble yet.
Frustrated with the total just
He says the man you trust had sent stone to us. They stole it. So they stole from us. We were taking back what was ours.
man I trust.
The father of the son guy we saved.
I'll look at Julie and
You
say,
don't listen
"You don't
to
know
any.
that's exactly
You don't
what
listen
the
to any
intent was."
narration.
Apparently, Julie can't remember a single name.
Doesn't need to.
Trevarin, what are you doing?
I'm looking at Julie and saying, we don't know for sure that stone was meant to come to us. We were trying to find out what the explosion was and why they were heading this way. We were never given a contract or any type of promise of reward for recovering the stone.
Julie laughs. Reward. Stone is most valuable object in entire city. Ah!
I'll look at Trevarin and be like, the stone is a key.
I'm going. I'm going. What the hell is your character's name, Malik?
Okay.
Okay, sorry. You would think I'd remember that. I'm going to turn around and be like, "Kay, I get that it's a what do you call it? I get that it's a key, and I get that there could be untold fortune hidden behind it. But I'm not willing to die for it. Not here, not now.
I agree. That's why we all left. But I'm saying that we should go back and try to figure out as much as we can.
All right, and with that, I'm literally going to take one of the gold bars out and throw it at Julie. Here's your fucking reward.
It's quite heavy, so you have to give it a little bit of heft.
I'm strong. I throw it at Julie. Here, take it for right now, rather than slaughtering people in their bedrooms.
Julie will just take it and tuck it into his shirt. Just be like, doesn't make what you did right.
Doesn't make what you did right either, or we're about to do.
You stick this 5-pound gold bar into your shirt.
Julie does it and plays it off like nothing happened. He knows what he's doing.
I'm going to give
He's going back to his room to color.
real fast. I'm going to give a gold bar each to the rest of the guys.
Okay.
And the reason Rotund does this is much how, like, when you're a new cop on the force and you take the hush money the first time?
Mm-hmm.
That's why he does it.
Okay. While you're in the middle of this, you hear a knock at the door. City guard, open up, please.
Fuck that, I'm running upstairs.
I've got this. I've got this. I'll pull down my hood and remove my black robe and put on my robes of tether that I have in my bags.
Okay.
To look like the missionary again, and I will open the front door.
Okay. As you open the door, you see standing outside is a contingent of about half a dozen guard, and in front of them are the two familiar investigators, Sergeant Cromley and Barnabas Blastwin, who stand at the front door and they say, "Oh, we understand that you had spent some time over at the Gralhund Villa this evening."
I'll turn around and look around the bar, and I'll see Trevarin and Droloff sitting at the bar and be like, "We haven't left the building. We've been here relaxing, trying to get this place picked up all day."
Sergeant Cromley will begin to write in his notes, and he'll say, and Barnabas will say, "We have several witnesses who claimed that they saw you and your compatriots enter into the Gralhund Villa, leave the Gralhund Villa."
And I'll turn and look at him and I'll laugh. And I'll say, "Kay, you're such a kidder. Yes, we were over there. We heard commotion. We went in there, saved the noble from some intruders that we saw go into the building. And then once we cleared them out, we bid them adieu and left."
Sergeant Cromley will continue to write in his notes. He'll look over at Barnabas and will nod, and he will go. Barnabas will look at the rest of you and go, "And pray tell, what were you doing over at her villa in the evening?"
We were passing by, and we heard the commotion. We went in. We were out and about, just trying to learn the neighborhood, and heard commotion, and we don't like hearing citizens fighting, and so we went in and helped them clear out the thugs. We didn't attack any guards, and the guards were there. And once the guards had the situation under control, we bid them adieu and left.
The sergeant will again continue to write in his notebooks. One last question. You were seen entering into the sewers nearby the Growlhund Villa by members of the Dung Sweepers Guild. Can you tell me why you entered into the sewers?
Well, we were hearing the commotion, and all the doors were locked, so we entered through the sewers to see if we couldn't get in to help them out. There was no one outside that was willing to help us, so we went in that way to see if we couldn't help them.
Make a persuasion check. They'll kind of cautiously look at each other. Cromley will continue to write in his notes, put it away in his shirt, and he'll go.
And I said, we also did you a favor. We left one of the thugs unconscious there for you to arrest and question. Unfortunately, we were unable to do the same for the other thugs or the leader that was attacking. But
Floxen.
as we said, the Floxen, but the guards were the ones who actually killed Floxen. So we left left everything for you.
The Sergeant Cromley will go and say, your account has been recollected by the lady of the house to the best of our knowledge. Your assistance to saving the life of one of our local nobles is much appreciated, though I must caution you against making your way and taking things into your own hands in the future. The city guard exists for a reason. If you see something suspicious next time, please do not hesitate to contact the guard.
Understood. We felt that we did not have enough time to contact the guard. Is there a better way for us to contact the guard in the future other than running down the street and trying to wave one of you down? Is there some type of communication device? Because we want to help the guard.
There
How do
are
we
local
become part of
station.
the guard? Is there something we can do to become part of the guard?
At this, they're kind of surprised and they go, the local group that is looking to hire. As soon as I pull up the notes for it. Says, there are some members of Force Grey that are always looking for hired hands, specialists such as yourself. You can talk to the Blackstaff over at Blackstaff Tower if that interests you.
At Blackstaff Tower. Okay. Okay. I'll nod. I said I appreciate the information. I was glad that the noble was safe. And if our bar was open, I'd offer you a drink, but I figured you guys are probably on duty. So, again, I thank you for coming by and checking on us.
Well, keep safe tonight. We thank you for the assistance, and again, don't hesitate to contact the guard if you hear anything else suspicious. Keep the blood off the streets.
Speaking of other things that are suspicious, did you learn anything about the explosion that was nearby yesterday? I mean, we're kind of concerned that maybe our recently acquired tavern may be in jeopardy of some destruction if there's more explosions in this area.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay.
You'll hear Barnabas sigh, and he'll go, we learned that another subject escaped the scene. We believe the Erstal that you had accosted at the manor was one such individual, though we believed another one, a construct of some sort called a Nimblewright, had left the scene of the fireball as well.
Very interesting. Do you guys have any thoughts or suspicions that other buildings in this area or other people may be targets of this dastardly deed?
They'll say.
I mean, because we're trying to get this thing back up, and I don't want to get this, all of our investment blown up as soon as we get this tavern back off the ground.
Understood. We don't believe that any of the businesses here are at immediate risk. We have reason to believe that the gnome in question was running from armed pursuers that we now know belong to the Zentarum, of which there were 3. The third person was the one that you had accosted at the villa. The other 2 were found dead at the scene. We believe the gnome and his pursuers were moving towards your tavern.
So, the guy that we dealt with at the villa, it was the same guy that was responsible for the explosion, or at least involved with the explosion. That seems kind of odd that we'd run into him over there. What was he having to do with the noble, I wonder? And I kind of just plant that seed in his head that something else needs to be investigated with what's going on.
He says, we're wondering about that ourselves. Don't worry, we'll get to the bottom of it. Been doing this for many years.
Yep. No, I completely trust you. And if we learn of any new information or if we come across anything, we will be sure to let you know.
It is much appreciated. Have a good night, gentlemen. Will not take up much more of your time.
I bow and show them out the door and say, "Have a good night," and I close the door and lock it behind them.
Okay.
Then I pick up some type of
As soon as you lock the door, you hear Julie smashing stuff downstairs.
Yeah, I pick up some piece of wooden material on around the tap room and I throw it over at Kay. What are you doing?
Well, I didn't think we were gonna
Don't
be
lie
honest.
to the guards. They obviously knew we were there.
Man, we could have made him think it was someone else.
I come strolling back down the steps and I'd be like, I don't think you could have made them think it was someone else.
To be fair, no one knows what I look like with my hood up, so we're good.
Yes, and the rest of us are very inconspicuous.
Points at the elf.
Hey, I just kind of smile and smirk back at him, and then I go back around to tell Jarloff, where the heck's that beer we bought? I need an ale. You better not have drunk it all.
I pour him a glass of ale or a mug of ale.
Okay. You get out one of the mugs that happen to be hanging around the place, and you toss it over towards Treverin.
And I take the mug and I say, "Gentlemen, I'm going to my room." And then I head off to my room.
Okay.
Kelly, real fast.
Mhm.
How far would 1,000 gold go to fixing this place up?
It would either get the bedrooms fully furnished, and have the living space fully taken care of, or you could use 1,000 gold to get the tavern up and running, basically.
I think the
At least
tavern. Go ahead.
at least up to capacity. You'd have to hire people and get contracts going outside of that.
Real fast. The all 5 of you, or all 4 of you. Real fast. What's your impression on getting the tap room up and running and hiring some people to hiring a bartender and
Honestly, it's a good source of income, and it helps us start moving in other directions, so I'm okay with it.
I will caution that the more people we bring in, the more attention we're going to attract, though. And
But the more juicy rumors.
yeah.
right, but also a lot more difficult for us to sneak out and go take care of our other initiatives.
Is there any reason we can't make a back door?
And this goes to everybody, Pant and Dreloff as well. What do you think would be the ideal thing to do? OOC, or even in character, I don't care. Would you like to fix up the bar and run it as a business, or would you rather fix up the bedrooms?
As long as I get free beer, I say bar.
Well,
And my bedroom's already fixed up, so it doesn't really matter to me on that.
in character, if you lift the hatch and ask Julie to come up, he'll yell that he's still not talking to you. Out of
I haven't
character,
forgiven you yet, Dad. Sorry.
out of character. Julie's agnostic as to whether or not to get the tavern running. If we do, great. If not, I mean, if you ask him for money, he'll
I'm-
tell you he's trying to afford better arms and equipment.
Well, he just got 250 gold worth of Wycott, so he can go spend that how he wants.
Yeah, but good plate is twice that.
Well, I understand that, but for the other 4 bars, I'd like to get the bar running. And if Julie doesn't care or Julie doesn't Wycott, then I'm just going to ignore Julie with that problem.
Well, he gave you that moonstone for some of the furniture,
You're
so he's not
100%.
completely averse to giving you some money.
I don't need any money from
But
him.
oh, okay,
I-
been great.
I've still got 4 fucking gold bars that I'd like to fucking get this place up and running with.
I mean,
Yeah,
out of character, that was the
Julie's fine
intent
with that.
when we got the gold bars. Was that to use that for the tavern if it doesn't have any way to be traced.
That was my intent.
Yeah, that was my intent too. So that the gold bars used for that is fine.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. All right.
But I'll leave it in your hands on whether or not it can be traced and how do you launder it.
If I have to, I'm a fucking dwarf. If I can't melt that shit down and remelt, or I'll hang my hat.
No, that's exactly why I'm telling you. I'm leaving it to you because you are the expert in that stuff.
But I do recall asking if there were any markings on it, really.
Just the marking of quantity, signifying it as a valuable as a viable bar.
All right. So, no serial number or anything like that.
No.
Okay. This is what I would like to do. 2 things, real fast. I say I'm assuming we're all going to get a rest here in the evening, but in the morning, what I would like to do is I would like to go about spending that money to fix up the tap room, buy some provisions, look into hiring a Wycott, and I would like to reach out and have the child that picked up the necklace from the explosion. I would like to offer him a job if we can find him on the street.
So for now, you all head to bed.
Yeah.
Considering I have 5 hit points, yes.
Okay.
Sure.
While you kind of retreat over to your rooms. Rotund, you hear a knock at the door.
I'll go down.
As you open the door, you see Kay standing on the other side.
Oh, you mean a knock on my bedroom door?
Yep.
Oh.
In the middle of the night.
I'm not that kind of dwarf.
If you will hear me for a minute, will you follow me further upstairs?
I bring my warhammer.
I'm gonna usher you up to the turret peak.
God, usher is such a fancy word. Oh, okay.
All right. You make your way up to the very top of the turret that is the middle of the city. At the high peak of the turret that makes up Trollskull Manor, you get a wide view of the entirety of the alley itself. At this time of night, the lights in the city are on. There's a very, very light patrol that keeps an eye out amongst it. But for the most part, the city at this time of night is very much quiet.
So before this gets any more uncomfortable, uh, is there something I can help you with, lad?
Oh shit.
Isn't it romantic?
I want to test a theory of mine.
Listen,
I want to know.
listen.
Yeah,
I
I know.
know, I know that I'm naturally short, and I know. Oh, you don't have to hurt your knees, but I am not doing that.
Oh shit. No, okay. You completely misunderstand me, and I'll form my blade into existence as a longsword, and I'll
Okay.
go. I want to see if you can hear her too, and I'll
Here.
hold my blade like it two palmed, like they hold swords out for people.
Okay.
Um,
You see him conjure his familiar blade in his hand, and he extends out pommel side in your direction.
Wait a minute. Before I grab this, you want to see if I can hear who too? You'd never believe me when I hear things.
I think you and I have a lot bigger of a connection than you believe.
Oh, all right. And I'll grab the hilt of the sword.
Okay. As soon as you grab the hilt of the sword, there's a brief flash. Uh, it's like the spark of a flashbang, but it doesn't stun you and it doesn't phase you. And
I've been Bill
you hear.
Cosby. I'm so sorry.
A stiff wind blows you off the turret peak. You take 48d6 points of damage.
I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
Jesus.
Anyway, a brief flash kind of fills your eyes for a brief minute, and you hear the sound is soft, but you hear faint whispers.
Are you Slytherin? No, but okay. I'm like, yeah, I hear it.
Boy, it's windy out here.
I need you to listen closer. Can you hear exactly what she's saying?
Actually, I didn't really hear exactly what Killy said, but go ahead. Because
I
I
know.
just didn't hear it.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was the idea. You couldn't hear it exactly, so I'm asking you to listen closer.
all right, I'm going to listen very closely, and I'm going to try to make out as much as I can.
And I'm going to ask you
Make
to close
a.
your eyes.
He asks you to close your eyes.
I mutters to myself, this is such a setup. What do you want me to roll?
A perception check. You close your eyes, you focus intently, and listen. The voice is faint, and you can't make out what it's saying, as hard as you listen.
I just hear whispers, lad.
Maybe the connection's not fully there yet, and I'll reach out for the sword again.
I'll hand it back to you.
Poof it out of existence.
Okay?
Um,
As you poof it out of existence, the both of you hear a faint, what sounds like a woman's giggle.
And now she'll talk, of course.
if someone just saw us up here and is giggling, me and you are going to have problems. And I'm going to say, what was I listening for?
My patron.
You're not a bard, I hope.
No, wrong kind of patron. I believe you and I have the same connection to the same worlds, and I didn't know if maybe my allowing of you to live would allow you to feel her connection too.
Well, I heard something. I couldn't say quite what it was, but I did hear it.
I think you and I could set a goal together, if you will.
mm, it is so hard right now not to just make jokes, but I will so go with that. And what might this goal be?
My patron is currently, shall we say,
Gender fluid.
uh, seeking a way back to her original realm.
And that realm would be.
And I'll just usher my arms out around us.
Uh, meaning every, like, the Faerun.
Yes, our material realm we're currently standing in.
And where might she be now? Like, Killy, I am a priest of the grave. Do I have an idea of where this, where she might be right now, at all?
You don't know who his patron is.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna kind of point this out to you. So, clerics of the grave draw their power from what realm of existence?
Oh. It would be the grave domain. I mean, that's where I am. I would assume that's dealing
It would
with.
Shadowfell.
be the Shadowfell.
Okay.
A grave domain cleric preys upon the natural state between life and death, and the interlude between those would be the Shadowfell, otherwise called at times Limbo.
Okay. Gotcha. And I'll say that to you. Yeah.
And you being a believer in this world as well, I figured maybe we could find our powers together through that realm.
Well, Killy, would it be fair to say that I know a bit about the Shadowfell and what possible, not dangers it would it could possess, but um you know, uh, to what I would know to proceed probably cautiously, I would think.
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah. And I'm going to say that to you. I'm like, look, power comes at a cost, lad, and messing with the dead and the dying and the living, it can take a toll. I warn you not to reach too far, and you know, not like what reaches back at you.
I only seek to bring her back. Nothing more, nothing less.
Um, I you keep saying her. What's her name, lad?
Rivalova.
Does that name mean anything to me?
Make a religion check.
Oh no.
No.
All right. Well, I just wanted to warn you. Uh, I'll help where I can if I don't think it's a hazard, but I can't say that you've piqued my interest enough to uh, move forward haphazardly.
Well, I thank you for your participation either way. Thank you for humoring me.
No problem. I'm gonna head back downstairs.
Okay.
I'm gonna say to him, "You gotta follow 15 minutes afterward."
John's doing the walk of shame.
While he's walking back, then I'm gonna ask Riv what the hell happened.
Whatever do you mean, my boy?
Was that your problem or his?
Your souls are tied together, but the bond that you share with me is special.
If I'm going to convince him to help us, I'm going to need your aid in doing so.
I can only do so much in this state. Draw and grow.
Very well. And I will wait and walk down.
Tug and grow.
Okay? do you retreat to your respective bedrooms?
Yep.
Okay. Over the course of the night, between both Julia and Draloff, we'll start with Draloff. You have a particularly restless night. In your mind, you see the remains of your long lost tribe and a formless, faceless force, humanoid in shape, that rises over the hills. You see more of these faceless humanoid shapes join a much larger fellow as they push their way through the hills, charging at your tribe. Your tribe, to their credit, fights back fiercely, but in the midst of the melee, they are suddenly flanked. They are led by younger, stronger foes from the back, and leading them is a tall, slim figure. The figure seems recognizable, but you can't put your finger on it. And the rest of the night for you is a fairly restless sleep. Will, not Will, sorry, Julie, you have a similar restless night. Over the course of yours, you have the familiar nightmare of Throdrock. Is that how I'm pronouncing it?
Yeah, Thodrock. Something like out of Flintstones, you know?
Oh, okay, Thodrock. You have in your mind's eye a vision of Thodrock and just memories of how terrible he was as a leader, headstrong but incompetent, and how many times in combat you've had to save his hide, and where that's gotten you, and how that's let you treated by the tribe that has left you exiled. And as that nightmare begins to coalesce more and more, based on the information that you were provided by your contacts within Zentarum, you can't help but see this barely shapeless, formless plane where Thodrock and the rest of the orcs that follow him lead into just balls of fiery death, with Thodrock, tail between his legs, just retreating and watching from the distance as the clan just dies. And your night is similarly restless as the morning comes to. Go ahead and give yourselves the benefits of a long rest, restore your hit points. Any strength that you had drained from those shadows is now restored. The morning is yours.
Gonna frustratedly start cleaning up the library and study again.
Do I get to restore my rage?
Yes.
Okay.
That restores, I think, at the end of a short rest too. I don't remember. Anyway, Rotunda, as you make your way downstairs, you can't help but note that the silverware, what's there in this tavern, has been very neatly put away along the shelves.
Do I suspect that that is the God damn it! I wrote it down and I keep forgetting where my call is.
Your ghostly friend?
Lif. Do I suspect that's Lif's work?
Possibly.
Going to see about getting the tavern up today, Lif. And I'm gonna walk out and
As you say that, you hear a noise behind you. Watch as a chair just gets pushed in all on its own.
good stuff. And I'll walk on the way out.
Okay.
I'm gonna go basically looking for. I'm gonna look at the appropriate merchants to get the actual tap room going again, and I'm going to see if I can find that kid and see if I can like maybe put a one ad up for a bartender.
While he's out doing that, what do the rest of you do?
Um, so Treverin wakes up, and because he finally had a good restful sleep, he is now in his spring form. So
Gotcha.
he's very cheerful, kind of spry. Even looks a little bit younger in the face. You know, it's a joyous type of demeanor. And
You walk
he stops.
downstairs and see the rest of your compatriots look like absolute shit.
Exactly. and I kind of look around like, I walk up to Drala. The heck happened to you last night?
Rough sleep, drinking it off.
Eh, too bad. And then I'll say, I think I'm gonna go over to the Blackstaff Tower and just kind of inquire about position as a guard. I think maybe if we can curry some favor with the guards if we act like we're trying to be one of them. And then I'll say I'll see you later, and I'll walk out the door and head that way.
Okay. What do the rest of you do? If
I'm gonna go
anything.
see if I can't get some stuff to spruce my room up with.
Draw off, Julie.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
My armor class is wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but chainmail is 16. Oh, I don't get my dex modifier. That's what it is. Okay. No, it's right.
Yeah.
16. Um.
It maxes out.
Yeah. Julie's going shopping. Oh no, he doesn't have nearly enough for plate. Oh Jesus, plate's 1,500 gold. Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. Even breastplate doesn't get me anything. Half plate would get me 1 added to my AC, but that's still 750 gold. Well, never mind. It's gonna be a while before I can shop. I don't know. Julie goes upstairs and has a beer.
Okay.
He's not
Draw
happy.
off. You're just drinking in the morning.
Yeah, the gold bar that Rotund handed me, that's 250, right?
Yep.
Oh, it's worth? Okay. I'm going to go shopping at the weapon place.
Okay. So Julie stays home and drinks. So the rest of you head out to your different respective duties. I got to take a 5-minute bio break, so give me just a bit.
Yeah, me too. Thanks.
Bio break.
Kent,
Okay.
I hate you.
Why?
I'm not that kind of dwarf.
How many gold bars did we actually get?
8.
8. So we each got 1, and you got 4, correct?
Yep. I'm using the 4 for the.
Yeah. No, I just want to make sure I still had a bar.
Quick question, and it's just maybe I'm recollecting wrong because I had to go out the other night while we were all in the middle of that. Didn't all that information about like where we were heading? Didn't that come from the Zent contact?
The part where we knew where to go, yes, that all came from him. But we knew about the stone from I forgot his name.
Well, let me put it this way:
the one we saved, he came by and we gave him the head. And he told, and we were asking about the explosion. He told us that gnome that was running was an agent of his dad's, and that he believed he was heading here. And then we went to the tavern to try to find out more information, and that's when Julie got the information about that person, that has the stone was heading towards that villa, and that's why we were heading that way.
Right. Okay. Uh,
Right.
and just as what do you call it? Um, I'm not gonna lie. As chaotic neutral, that's why I fucking left. I
Oh,
just so y'all are aware that I'm trying to stay within that as much as what do you call it, saving my own ass when it comes to I kind of care more about me than I care about murdering a noble, and that would definitely be caring about me.
no, I don't. Why do you think I followed you? That was my alignment. Said I should follow you, so I did.
Yeah, I couldn't help it, Aver. There was too many like open lines there.
I've heard it all before. I'm the right height. You won't have to hurt your knees. You said that, I fucking lost it. That was.
I'm I'm glad none of us are playing gnomes because I was gonna be like, oh, and then you shoved the gnome up your ass. I understand. You're into that.
It's like a fucking gerbil.
Uh,
I should make a gnome and name him Limmywinks.
Oh man. How far did you get with the WoW patch?
I went as far as I could go with everything. I have to get on today so I can finish up my 3 more daily quests to hit my guy level 2, and then I can start the question back up.
I have to finish a few dailies, but I did all the world quests before we jumped in here.
I haven't had a chance. I went to work, got home, and I was here, so.
Well, killing those rares in Nash Guitar require usually more than 2 people. That's why
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I hijacked I hijacked Lucky last night, and Killy came along too, so that was pretty cool. We basically killed all the rares that we could last night.
I've been debating if I want to start leveling up my Benefit gear or if I want to just wait. Or Benthic gear, what the hell it is.
I leveled up one piece. I leveled up my gloves to 400 because the
Well,
glove. Good.
I know they can go to 425, which is why I'm debating if I want to do it or not.
Well, I also unlocked that thing tonight. The for the 15 anchor pieces or whatever.
15 anchor pieces.
Yeah, you're supposed to unlock this little forge thing over there, which I don't understand how it works at all
Unlock this little forge thing over there. I guess I don't know what you're talking about.
in Najjatar. There's a quest that the profession guy gives you to get 15. Oh, crowd! I can't think of what the hell the name of it is.
what?
Stones.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
The quest for the 15 stones or whatever the hell it was, and to making a working something over there. I did that tonight.
Taught the ley line puzzle?
No.
No.
All right, I'm back. Is anybody else AFK? Everybody
I'm
back?
I'm back.
I'm here.
Okay. All right. So
I can actually. I know I said Julie was just going to sit around drinking, but I can actually afford splint mail, which will give me 1 additional armor class. So Julie will go out looking for a decent suit of that.
okay,
That's
I will
all
say
can
that
afford.
Steven Steel, which is the local blacksmith in the alley, has a decent set of chainmail on sale.
Well, no, Julie has chainmail.
Oh, okay.
He wants to buy splint mail. He wants to
Oh,
trade in
splint
his
mail. I'm sorry.
chainmail. Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah,
Pull up that page.
chain is 75 gold for 16 AC, and splint is 200 gold for 17 AC. I'm hoping I can trade in my chainmail and spend 125 gold for the extra 1 armor class.
Okay, because the chainmail is slightly used, they're willing to offer you 60%. Well, if we're going to round it and say they'll give you about 30 gold if you sell them back the chainmail.
All right, so I'll give him 175 gold. I'll give him the gold bar and take change.
Okay.
That's 250 for the gold bar, right?
Yep.
And they're giving me 30 for the chain?
Yep.
All right, so that's 170. So that's what, 80? I get 80 back. All right, so I get splint mail and 80 gold. And
Yep.
I lose the gold bar. Okay, cool.
Okay, let me go ahead and set that up in your character sheet here while we're talking about it, in fact. It's just that. And edit the splint. And that's equipped. So your armor class should be adjusted now.
Yeah, looks it.
All right. So that's you done. Rotund.
Hmm.
For renovating the tavern itself, you're told it's going to be about 1,000 gold to renovate it, and it's going to take about 12 days to get everything up and running.
It's like working on a garrison. Wow. Yeah, that's fine.
Mhm.
That's fine.
And then it will also be an additional 250 gold for guild licenses and contracts in order to set up with the local guilds of the city for meat and for wine, ale, and that sort of thing to buy and sell on a consistent basis and everything.
Well, for right now, let's just get the the uh the room renovated if it's going to take 12 days.
Okay. So you pay the 1,000 down, and it'll take 12 days. After which point the tavern will be cleaned up, have everything more or less set to begin running, and that'll be that. And then, regarding the small boy, he's actually out. As you kind of wander around the alley, you actually see the small boy hanging out. Those tokens might not be set correctly, so okay. You do see the small boy kind of hanging out where the explosion took place, and he's laying some flowers down at the alley and kind of bowing his head.
All right. I'm gonna walk up to him. And to be clear, real fast, just a real quick question. Because because I was AFK for a good portion of that, I'm the only person that know that he had knows that he had the necklace thing, right?
Correct.
Okay. Uh, I'm gonna walk up to him and I'm gonna say, "Oh, sorry for your loss, lad. I know that those folks entertained you.
They were my friends.
Listen, how would you like to make some new friends?
You mean you, sir?
Me and my friends that own the bar. We could
The
use we
bar?
Yeah, the Troll Skull Tavern. We could use the young lad to do run errands for us and do some work around the place.
What'd you have in mind?
Um, Sweeping, maybe maybe some cleaning up around the place. We'd pay you, of course. We'd pay you, of course.
I already have a job.
Oh,
I,
what do you do?
I sell the paper.
How much does the paper give you for selling it every day?
I get 2 shiny gold by the end of a week.
2 gold a week. Are you union?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Well. Well, lad, if you ever decide that the paper is not your cup of tea, please come by and see us. I don't know if I can do 2 gold a week. Seems a bit steep for just running errands and cleaning up the place. But, you know, the offer is on the table.
Thank you, sir.
I'm
I'll keep it in mind. And he kind of gives you a half-hearted smile as he wipes a tear away from his eyes.
As I get out of earshot, I'm gonna be like, Christ, that boy's sad. And I'm just gonna walk back in.
Okay. So you spend your you spend your morning, I should say, getting the bulk of that all set up. Moving on then, and forgive me because I have a short memory. Kay, what did you say you were going to do?
I'm gonna go use the gold bar and some of my gold I got to see if I can't buy some stuff to fix up my room.
Okay. What sort of things are you wanting to do to spruce up your room? Just general maintenance and cleanup, or?
I would just like, well, I already kind of like cooked my room, but I want a nicer bed if it's possible. Not something too fancy, just something that's not what it is now. And then just a little bookshelf and maybe a little coffee table and a
Oh.
little, well, I guess like a little study area.
Okay. To tidy it up and to make it a little bit nicer, based on your preparations, you can make it equivocable to what a nobleman might possess in their personal study for about 250, or you can make it moderate for about 125.
How much is this 5 pound gold bar worth?
250,
I will just slap that on the table and say, give it to me.
I think. Is that what I said before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So you get the nobleman's work. They have some nobleman's furniture at the ready that they'll take a couple of days to deliver, and well, they'll take the morning to deliver it.
Gilio?
And is that all you're doing?
Yep, that's all I wanted to do. Other than that, I'll probably just pick up the library a little bit.
Treverin, what were you doing? Crow? Crow?
Oh, cry. I think he left.
I think he
Disconnected.
crashed.
I heard
There he
his.
is.
I heard his
Wah,
mic.
wah.
Can you hear me now?
There we
Yes.
Okay. Don't know what's going on with my system. Figure it out later.
I'm doing
I
that.
was heading to the Blackstaff Tower to inquire about guard recruitment.
That's right.
and-
Okay.
And seeing what information I can gather there.
Okay. So, as you make your way out, Blackstaff Tower is actually this fairly large, kind of looks like a mage tower that's somewhat close towards. Oh hell, I don't remember where it sits. We'll figure it out later. Anyway,
Yep.
it's this fairly large tower, and as you inquire, you are told that the Blackstaff was actually expecting you. And as you walk upstairs through the tower itself, you make your way through these winding towers that is very beautifully decorated. And there are at least a handful of mages that are in the midst of studying through different tomes and talking to one another. You don't draw much attention as you walk up, but you get the sense that these are spellcasters and of some power. And as you make your way to the very, very top, you see a fairly young looking woman holding what you can easily recognize as a staff of some power, and she is in the middle of conversing with what appears to be a guard, and she looks over and beckons you forward. And as you walk forward, she says, "Ah, with the troop that please don't draw a pentagram on my map." She says, "Ah, you're with the group that managed to rescue Mr. Never Ember. I've heard about you. Welcome to Blackstaff Tower. My name is Vajra."
I will walk up and bow and say, "Pleasure to meet you."
She says, "Tell me, the group that you are, does it have a name of any sort?"
Yeah. Also, out of character. I don't even know if we come up with a name.
Nope.
Nah, we don't have a name.
Okay, I say.
We barely stand each other. You think we ever?
I was gonna say I don't remember coming up with a name. I will balance it. Not really. We kind of just been advertising ourselves as the new owners of the Troll Skull Lodge and Tavern. Um,
Yes, given to you by Mr. Velothamp, as I understand.
yes, and I'll kind of bow and I'll comment very smirkily, since I'm in a good mood, that you seem to know an awful lot about us in our short time here.
I make it my business to know every one of certain report that comes through the city, and I must say your unique heritage has drawn some interest.
I'll raise my eyebrow and kind of say, "My heritage, huh?
I can
Interesting."
tell by your eyebrow that enough has been said. At any rate, if you possess nearly as much skill as you seem to belie, you may provide some use to us. Now, what do you know of Force Grey?
Gilly, do I know anything about Force Grey?
Make a history check.
I don't have that in my notes for sure.
I didn't think so. You know that Force Grey is a specialized force of the city guard. In fact, it's actually a private security force. They tend to handle especially uh, scrupulous and sometimes dangerous missions for the city of Waterdeep.
Oh, I'll say I've heard the name around town, but I don't necessarily know all the specifics because we're fairly new to Waterdeep.
She says, the Force Grey, or the Grey Hands, are a private security force under my personal command. With the resources and their skill, they hold utmost loyalty to the city of Waterdeep and its protection of both its citizens and its Lord Regent, Miss Silvermane.
And I'll say that's very interesting, and that's exactly why I've sought you out today, is because of all the stuff that's been happening around our newly acquired tavern. You know, protecting my tavern and protecting my own interest is definitely part of what I would like to do as and protect the citizens around that I will be using as vendors is of utmost importance to me at this time.
Silverhand, not Silvermane, my bad. But she says, protecting your personal interests in your new business is certainly understandable. Tell me, is there something you were hoping to talk to me specifically about in regards to this matter?
Um, no, what I'm really, I was hoping that, maybe start to understand how the guards work and being maybe not a formal guard, but someone that can be called upon when things are needed. Because I feels like my skills may be getting a little rusty, just being running a tavern and stuff. So I'm always looking for things that I can do to kind of keep me my wit sharp and things moving forward.
She raises an eyebrow curiously and says, is that so? Well, if you are intrigued, we may have a job that could be of use. No violence, unless you cause it.
Okay, and I'll say, this definitely sounds interesting. Please continue.
She says, or she there's a little bit of consternation from a nearby guard as she kind of strides forward, but she kind of puts her hand on his shoulder and he steadies himself a bit. She strides forward closer to you and lowers her voice and says, the Grey Hands have recently learned of a young bronze dragon that has made its way into Deepwater Harbor. Startled a few sailors, but it hasn't hurt anybody yet. We need some strong We need some strong members to confront the dragon and learn what it is that it's doing here.
Very interesting. Yeah, dragons are definitely notorious for not telling us why they're where they're at. And I know Waterdeep has very strict rules about certain certain magical things that occur within the town, what kind of liberties would I have if the dragon is let's just say a little bit more uncooperative than we hope for?
If the dragon is more uncooperative than you hope for, then you best try to get to air quickly, considering it is swimming down deep in the docks. You'll need these in order to get down to him, and she will hand you at least 5 of... If I can find my potions. 5 of these.
Okay. I will take them, and I will also inquire, because we're doing this duty for the city. What kind of compensation is it for us putting our lives in front of a bronze dragon? And I
I'm
kind of
just...
smile and kind of rub my fingers together.
She says, "Ah, an adventurer through and through. Well, as soon as I can find that page." She says, "As you may or may not be aware, Force Grey is a collection of former adventurers, and we may have a handful of special items that we could release to you, if for a time."
Uh, I will kind of lean into her and say, for each of my party members.
There's only so many magic items to go around. It would be a reward for your party.
Okay. I will nod and kind of say, I will discuss this with my group, and how can I get in touch with you? Or should I assume that once I leave this place, I'm on that mission unless I come back to you?
She says, "I will try to reach out to you within the span of at least 48 hours. You'll hear me."
Okay. And I'll kind of bow and kind of walk by the the guard that was a little unsteady, and kind of just give him a small tap on the shoulder, saying, "Nothing to worry about, dude." And if look at her and say, "If there's nothing else, then I will make my leave."
She says, "Fortune's favor to you, friend."
And then I will turn around and cautiously walk by the mages, kind of looking at what they're doing. If they're sitting there messing with spells or something like that, I'll just try to kind of take a glimpse of what kind of magic they may be messing with. And because of my deep knowledge of magical arts and my book knowledge, I'm hoping I could at least jot down mentally the different types of magic that they were currently using.
Sure.
And proceed back to the tavern.
Okay. So the interesting thing about Blackstaff Tower in particular is, aside from being a very centric guard post, it is also serving as a training center for apprentice magi. And so a lot of the magic that you see being practiced here, there's some on the higher level, some of which you personally have been able to master with your own sorceress intent, but for the most part, it's fairly simple cantrips, or the baby's first magic missile sort of thing.
Okay. When you said I walked in, you said I was seeing them doing powerful magic, so I was just
Yeah,
curious.
that
Okay.
you do see some of that.
Okay. All right.
Um, you see a wizard. You see a wizard shoot a beam of some energy towards a very, very well protected box, and a portion of it disintegrates before your eyes. You see another one conjure within a very limited controlled space what appears to be an elemental made of water, but it's kept to be very, very small and very quickly desummoned or banished.
And being the observant person I am, these magi and stuff, are they wearing like apprentice robes? Are they wearing a common uniform?
The apprentice magi are all wearing a common uniform. The higher ups have very differing, varying uniforms, but they all have the sigil of Force Gray on them.
Okay. Okay. Then I will make my way back to the tavern and inform the others there of what I learned and that we potentially could have a job to go have a chit chat with a bronze dragon if people are seeking some fun and exciting times ahead.
Okay. Before we get to that, Rotund, you said you were going out shopping yourself? Yes, no, maybe? Anali?
Drayloff was, yeah.
Nope. What are you going out shopping for?
I was going to see what kind of weapons they have at this place.
They have just about any weapon you would want. What are you in the market for?
Let's see if I can get a bow, actually.
Oh, a bow? Okay. Um, you, even somewhere throughout the city as you go shopping, what kind of bow are you after? The short
Just
bow,
a
long bow?
longbow.
Longbow? There's also crossbows, but the longbow itself is 50 gold, and it will be 1 gold piece for, I believe, 20 arrows. So, if that's what you're in the market for.
What's the damage on it?
Well, you tell me.
I've got a 1d6 with 3 piercing with the javelins. I was going to see if a longbow was more
Longbow
damage
is
on.
longbow is 1d8.
Yeah, definitely want to go to a longbow. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll take a longbow with 20 arrows.
Okay. Deduct 51 gold from your total value, and then I'll just add them into the sheet for you here.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. All right. Okay. As you make your way back over towards the tavern after spending the morning taking care of business and going back out shopping, Treveran tells you that he may have a job involving a dragon.
I'm intrigued.
How much does it pay?
Straight to the money.
I will say, up front, they handed us potions of water breathing to aid us. Then I'll put those out on the table. And I say, as reward, we've been promised certain magical gifts that may help us be stronger and do more things. And it also carries some favor with the guards that may help us with our other exploration activities that we need to conduct.
Julie just shakes his head. And for these gifts, we kill dragon.
Uh, our orders are to communicate with the dragon if possible, and try to understand its intent, and persuade it to leave.
And if the answer is no,
Then Julie may have some dragon scale armor to make. And I'll kind of look at Julie and nod in his direction.
Julie just kind of thinks for a minute and goes, shakes his head. Julie, good, not that good.
well,
Um,
So I'll look at Julia with him saying that. I was like, "Are you scared of the bronze dragon?" I figured you'd be all
No.
about this.
Julie not
Then-
scared, but dragons.
Then- Then why did you say good but not that good? We gotta work on your communication skills, man. Are you in or are you out?
Are you in or out?
Julian.
All right, that's what I kind of figured. Figured you'd be all about this.
Question.
Answer.
Um. What were you planning on saying to it to persuade it to leave?
Looks at Julie. We'll eat its liver.
He'll have you make female voices to it.
Well, with that kind of comment, I was going to offer it a dwarf.
Drelov, you're in.
volunteered.
I don't suppose where is the dragon?
It's down near the harbor, and I know you're used to being underground. I don't know how you feel about underwater, but there's a reason why we have 5 potions of water breathing in front of us.
And he puts them out in front of you, presumably.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, I had already put them out on the table.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I'll take one.
Oh yes, it would be such a fish out of water story. Like maybe an elf that's from the Fae that can't speak Fae. Then I'll grab the potion and be like, fine.
And I'll quickly acknowledge that he said that, and then say, you have secrets as well, and I'd appreciate if you'd stay out of my my historical background. Thank you. And then laugh and slap him upside the shoulder,
And
really, really
kill.
hard.
While you're in the middle of discussing this,
Oh, sorry, Joe.
while you're in the middle of discussing this, you hear a knock at the door.
I got the door last time. Someone else get it this time.
That's not true at all. I got the door last time.
Yeah, you almost messed it up for all of us.
Julie gets the door.
Okay. On the other side, Julie, you see Raynar and Everember alongside Lester Silvermay, and Raynar will bow and say, "Greetings, Sir Julie. May we come in?
Why?
We have more information regarding the explosion that happened yesterday."
Julie, just let him in.
Julie just gives a sigh and goes, "Okay." Turns around, and walks back in.
They step forward, and Lester will come forward, and he'll say, "The investigation has reason to believe that a creature called a Nimblewright managed to escape, presumably with the stone. We have good reason to believe that the Zentarum and the Xanathar Guild are desperately in search of this Nimblewright, though we do not know whom it belongs to, nor where the Nimblewright itself is." And Raynar will reach into a nearby bag and pull out a device that looks like this.
That's some cat in the hat looking shit.
I was thinking the same exact thing, man.
As you kind of marvel at this thing, Raynar will say, "We got it from the House of Inspired Hands. After informing the priestess of what was happening over there, she encouraged that anybody who could capture the Nimblewright in question and destroy it, and evidence of its destruction would be rewarded by the temple. We have reason to believe that the Xanathar guilds and the Xantarum are seeking it for another reason."
You got it from a priestess, you say? Did you wash it first?
I'm sorry, I don't follow.
That's okay. That's okay.
And I'll look and I'll try and it's like dwarf and their jokes. Never funny.
Right. Well, we would pass this on and encourage you to peruse the city, and Lester will jump in and say, The Day of Wonders festival, which contains many of these constructs, is fast approaching. So, when you travel around the city, this thing will begin to give off a sound as you get closer and closer to one of these constructs. Try to follow the sound as it goes off if you can. That being said,
How
there's no way
loud
of
of a
knowing.
sound?
I don't know how else to describe it, but it'll sound kind of like those clapping mechanical monkeys.
Okay.
Julie will ask, how we know we have the right one? Can't go around
that-
just destroying them all.
That's the thing, we're not certain. At this point, it's a wild goose chase to find the correct one.
So just destroy them all. Only way to be
Well,
sure.
we have reason to believe that the one in question might try to defend itself if you happen to find it, wherever it's hiding.
I will chime in. Do you guys know of any constructs that reside at the Valletta Villa? And do they have any unique markings if you do?
Do you mean the Gralhund Villa?
I wrote Valletta Villa, but I guess it is Growlhund.
Hmm.
Wherever we just came from, I guess my notes are a
Gralhund.
little off. Yep. Okay.
That's okay. They'll say, the investigators in question did not think to ask Miss Gralhund.
So the investigators reported to you everything they got from there.
They report to the Lord's Alliance, and we have our ways of disseminating that information.
So did they also reveal they came and questioned us?
Yes.
Okay. Um, I'll kind of acknowledge that they said that, and I say I see, and I'll say if a priest held this device, I'll recommend Rotund be the one to carry it.
That looks
And
much more like something you should carry with you. I don't know what the fuck it is.
I'll sadly just look at him and say, "Were you not paying attention? Do we need to go back to the narrative story again?" And I'll take the Nimberite detector in my hands and put it in my backpack.
Okay.
And
Raynor will say, we'll have ears and eyes trying to find this thing as well. But, the more ears we can have to the ground trying to find wherever this creature might be, the better.
I will kind of pipe up a little bit and saying, so you're able to find out all kinds of information that's not exactly public knowledge, correct? Yeah, it seems like you're definitely an information broker currently. Knowing
Jalester will
what I know about
say,
Lord's Alliance and the history of Lord's Alliance, I'm kind of just probing a little bit.
Jalester will step forward and he'll say, with all due respect, the Lord's Alliance has access to the information that is provided by the City Guard. They do report to the Alliance after all. This matter is of some importance to Mr. Neverember here, and you have proven yourselves to him, and he seems to have placed his trust in you.
And I'll just kind of sit there and I'll say, how does the Force Grey group fit into this picture?
He says, at the moment, we're not certain that they know too much more than the Guard already themselves know. Jalester will sheepishly say, I'm afraid that Miss Silvermane does not have a good standing relationship with the Blackstaff, though they respect one another.
Okay. I will. I'll acknowledge and say, yeah, I appreciate it. And if there's nothing else, we got some breakfast to eat or lunch. I guess it's lunchtime. To before we embark on our adventure of the afternoon. So.
All right, we'll leave it to it, gentlemen. Thank you. And they'll quickly bow and walk out.
And then as they walk out, I'll close the door and lock it behind them. And I'll turn around, guys, and I'll say, "There's obviously, some information here that they're not being told either, because the Force Gray is quote part of the guard, and they also know a lot about us. And if I don't know how all of this information about our daily activities are being spread." But it seems like everyone we talk to seems to know everything about what we're doing, even though we don't necessarily advertise our plans. So just I'd like to point that out, and that's something we need to be kind of cautious of.
You don't suppose anyone in our neighborhood could be a part of it, do you?
I don't know, but how did they? Yeah, literally, when I went over to the Black Staff Tower, they knew immediately who we are, what we've done, and how we got Troskull Tavern. They knew our encounter with Volo. And it just seems like a lot of our deeds are being widely spread throughout the quote guard of the city.
Just to be clear, Fourth Grade is an elite sort of separate faction of the guards that do serve the city of Waterdeep.
They're like
The
black
Right,
guard,
elves.
but if
the
they,
guard, the guard themselves really only know what you've done and what's been reported to the guard. She, the Black Staff herself, seems to know everything that has happened so far to you.
right, but that's my point. So she knows about it. We got the Lord's Alliance who knows just about everything we've done. Because I mean, even you said if the guard only knows what the guard's been reported, how did they know? How did the Lord's Alliance know that we were questioned last night by the investigators? Because I would assume the investigators are not necessarily part of the guard.
The investigators are probably part of the guard.
Okay. All right. Well.
That
Anyway.
investigation goes up to the Lord's Alliance. So the Lord's Alliance runs the city, or at least there's an operative force within the city,
Okay.
and the guard kind of reports to them. So
Okay.
these different factions do know different things about you. Some know more than others.
I'll just say it just seems like something we need to keep in mind as we go, on our adventures moving forward.
Well, now the question is, dragon or weird Dr. Seuss thingy?
My suggestion would be we take the device, we walk through the town on our way towards going to have a little chat with the dragon. Why does it have to be mutual exclusive?
I said we go towards the manor with the thing.
We could definitely take the long way around.
Then onward.
All right. Starting back at Troll Skull Alley. In
Yep.
what direction of the city would you like to move?
So, based on Drelof's recommendation, what we would like to do is probably go down Saradun Street.
'Kay.
To the east, and kind of go by Gralhun Villa, just walking by, and keeping an eye on that little device of ours.
Okay.
It's in my backpack, and then what do you think, guys? South from there,
Yeah.
and then we head south, kind of down Nindabar Street, I guess.
Okay. So
Uh,
far, over the course of that travel, the device is not going off.
Okay. And then probably Soldown Street, maybe there go west. Do you think? Guys, feel free to chime in if you want to go a different route. I'm just
No.
kind of leading us away.
No,
No, Julie's
go
just
for it.
following.
All right. So down Soldown Street to the west until we hit High Road.
Okay. As you pass by the market, there are a couple of different constructs and the devices going off, but they're sitting in the middle of the street, and then you can see a couple of people hawking at them as sort of the pre-prep before the Day of Wonders parade, it looks like.
So as a test, since we were walking by them, is it loud enough for the whole group to hear, or is it only loud enough for me to hear?
At the
Is it
moment,
going to wake up the neighborhood? Is really what I want to know. Is like how
it's
how
not
much
so
noise
loud
is
that
it
it's going to
making?
wake. It's not going to so loud that it's going to wake up the neighborhood. And with
Okay.
as busy as the streets are, and especially as loud as it is at the market itself, it's
Okay.
not going to draw a whole heck of a lot of attention to you.
Okay.
But it's loud enough that it's certainly holding onto it that you yourself can make it out. Your adventure, those of your party who are kind of hanging out in the back might be able to hear a little bit of it, but it just
Okay.
kind of meshes with the rest of the white noise
So
of the market in this
from
time of
maybe
day.
about a 20-foot radius sound ish.
Thereabouts.
Okay. All right. That's good. I just I wanted to test it. That's why I was hoping we
Yeah.
encountered
It might be fainter beyond that radius, but it's clear.
Okay.
It's a pretty clear sound. If it were
Okay.
dead quiet, anybody within that 40-yard-ish radius could probably hear it.
All right. And then I guess, since we're passing the market, I'll kind of look around. So, anyone got any business to do at the market to do?
I'll shrug and say, not really, no.
Okay. And we'll continue over Bazaar Street and go down. Just because I think the street sounds cool. The Street of the Sword.
Okay.
Until we get to Waterdeep Way.
Okay.
And then we'll take Waterdeep Way. And we'll go down Snail Street and probably take a small stop in the Yawning Portal just to grab some drinks.
Okay.
Because I'm sure I've extended the time between beers before the dwarfs a little too long, so we'll stop and let them get some refreshment, and then continue down Gut Alley.
Okay.
And once it comes out, we'll be on, I guess, Ship Street.
Okay.
And then
As you make your way further towards the ships in the dock ward, the devices begin to whir faintly.
it's going faintly.
So I guess we keep walking that direction.
Keep going south down Ship Street then?
Yeah.
Okay. We get down to like Dar Alley. Does it get louder or quieter? Or is it about the same?
As soon as I can find our alley.
It's at the corner where Ship Street bends towards the
Okay.
water.
Can you ping it?
Yeah.
There it is. Okay, and you're making your way on that alley towards the water?
Yeah, we're just on Ship Street now. We're just passing Dar Alley. We're not actually going down the alley, but we're in this area.
Okay. It whirs a little bit louder as you make your way there, but as you make your way away from the docks itself, the whirring begins to get a little softer.
So I guess
But
we walk
it's-
further down Ship Street this way.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll head on down Ship Street to where it runs into Dock Street down here.
Okay. The device begins to whir fairly consistently as you get close to what appear to be two similar ships that are docked in the harbor. On one, they're both galleons. On one, you see the word Heartbreaker. On the other, you see the word Hellraiser.
You don't suppose it's on that boat, do you?
I'm going to Killy. I don't suppose there's a not like a harbor master's office or something along those lines that's close by, so we could check about the manifest of those ships.
Probably.
I'm gonna go do that. I'll tell the guys, hold on a minute, let me go see what I can find out, and I'm going to go ask.
Yeah, I'll tell them we'll stay on Dock Street, but I'm gonna basically kind of you know I'm assuming the ships are like in this little area here. I'm gonna just slowly kind of walk around. Here, hold on. I'm gonna do this and just kind of see, does the sound get louder or quieter at that point?
It gets louder as you get close to the ships and gets quieter as you get away from them.
Okay, so definitely what it's triggering is on the ships. Okay. Okay. So I'll kind of do that as kind of a reconnaissance, just as a calibration to see what should we be looking at.
All right. Rotund, you make your way over to the dockmaster's cabin, which is a couple of blocks away. As you make your way there, he finishes off a conversation with a very lithe but strong-looking very young but strong-looking older man who just kind of politely nods as he passes by you. As you make your way over to the dockmaster himself, he's an older, very salty, seaworthy kind of guy. He says, "Yeah, which one do you belong to?"
Pardon?
"Your ship's name?"
Heartbreaker.
"It's already got the manifest state." "Your name?"
Rotund O'Leary.
You're not listed on the manifest.
I'm a new hire. They might not have gotten a chance to. They might not have gotten a chance to add me to the rolls.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage. Or deception check with disadvantage, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hold on. Where the hell? Deception, you say?
Yep, disadvantage.
Yeah, I got that part.
He says, "Captain will need to verify your employment then before I can release anything."
Well, can you tell me at least one thing? I don't want to be late for the job. Do you know when they intend to ship out?
Probably after the festival. Beats me.
Kind of new to the city. What festival you be talking about?
That'll be the Day of Wonders.
Oh,
Whole bunch of sciencey stuff parades down the street. Bunch of gnomish technology, that sort of thing.
oh, gnomes. Am I right?
Eh? Yeah.
What about where do they what street do they usually go down?
What, the gnomes or the parade?
Both.
Well, they start from the north gate, work their way along the high road through the entire city, and end at the south gate, using the market as a sort of a hawking place.
I assume most of the city comes out for this.
Probably. A lot of stuff for the kids. Weird gadgets, toys, that sort of thing.
Not a holiday in any means, is it?
Oh, absolutely.
No. Well. All right. Have a good day.
You too. Come back with the captain.
All right, I'm gonna walk back. I'm gonna rejoin the guys. I'm gonna say, "Did you guys know there was a fucking gnome holiday?
Excuse me?
There's a gnome holiday coming up.
Celebrating what?
Something of wonders, gnomish technology and gadgets and shit like that.
I was gonna say, if it was a religious thing, I'd be surprised.
That no
So-
religion I've ever heard.
And I'll look at them and I'll say, "Don't worry, we'll buy you a ticket so you can attend all the festivities."
Oh, by the way, before I had to go let the dog out, I was gonna say slapped you slapped me hard with your hands or whatever, or Killy
Mhm.
said that you did. I was gonna be like, it's an elf. It ain't that hard to slap. Um,
Just so that's clear.
yeah.
Completely out of context at this point. But all right.
Still worth it. um, couldn't find anything out about the manifest. But the boats probably aren't leaving until after the holiday parade.
But if they're not leaving after holiday, then they probably are supposed to be there.
Okay, that is just ridiculous looking, by the way.
Yep, that's just an example of the Day of Wonders parade.
I understand what it is. It's so silly. It's
Why is that
ridiculous.
little girl like cowering in fear?
Well, how would you feel if a gigantic robot came up next to you?
Aroused?
All right.
That would be Kay speaking for everyone listening at home. All right, so maybe we can ignore the ones that are on the ships. It sounds like that's how they're getting here for the festival.
Oh,
Well, that
yeah,
little
yeah,
whirly
yeah,
pig
yeah,
is-
yeah. Good point.
So I guess Kill, I didn't write down which harbor are we supposed to be heading toward, the naval harbor or the Great Harbor?
The Great Harbor is where the dragon itself is
Okay.
said to be.
Oh, we're right
Okay.
next to it.
Yeah, well, that's why I was heading there, but then I saw the naval harbor here, and I was like, well, I didn't write down the right one, but I just wanted to make sure. Guys, I know that the dragon supposedly is underwater at the Great Harbor, and especially with a festival coming in, maybe we ought to go deal with that since we're here. Does anyone see a place where we can
Wait.
acquire or rent a ship or a boat?
Wait. Hold on. I'm going to say, listen. As far as checking out these two boats, when would you say that was, Killy? A couple days from now or right now?
The Day of Wonders itself is a singular parade. The gentlemen, the festival itself isn't going to happen for a couple of weeks yet, based on the current time frame. The dockmaster said he thought that he figured that the ships would be leaving harbor around that time frame.
Okay. All right. So we don't know. We just assume.
Right.
I think it might be prudent for us to try to get on one of these boats. Is there anybody working the boat, Skilly? Either one of them?
Um.
I mean, surely they're not just sitting there in harbor by themselves.
And
Nah.
And while you're bringing that point up, I'll look at Kay. We're not doing what we did last time, Kay.
Oh.
Right now, it's the middle of the afternoon. The docks themselves are actually quite bustling. There's a handful of folks who are coming up and off the ships. You can see there's a couple of sailors who are kind of hanging around, taking care of some work on the top of the ship.
And just to be clear, because we want to get on one of these ships because we want it to take us out into the Great Harbor to deal with this dragon.
Why don't we just ask the guard for a boat?
No, we want to get on. So the point of getting on the ships is to track down the. Oh, my notes are just getting awful. Hold on.
I know it's a real bitch after we had a campaign last time where we had somebody literally had a life or death decision to try to remember shit from the beginning
I
of the
know.
campaign. And now
we're
you're like,
all taking notes.
man, I really want to take notes this fucking time.
The nimble right detector is going off, and that would lead us to where the stone may be, which takes us back to that point, which is why we want to get on the ships to see if one of the constructs moves to defend itself when we approach it. If we don't really want to do that at this moment, because these constructs seem to be flooding in, and more are going to get here and make this detector less and less valuable.
To be fair, real fast, I don't want to argue with your logic, but this is what I would say to you in character and out of character. I don't think that the ships would be bringing in a whole bunch of these contraptions. I believe that they would probably be made in town or around town. I don't think they ship them in for this. I'm sure the local gnomes are the ones that are sort of the purveyors of such festivals. I can't imagine they're like, hey, send us a bunch of giant death robots. I think it might be safe to say that on one of these boats might be the thing we're looking for. And it probably
I,
wouldn't.
I
Go
I
ahead.
don't disagree, but Julie's question was, why are we trying to get on the boats? And then he's literally asked, are we getting on the boats to get out into the Great Harbor?
Oh, I just
And
kind
I
of
said
ignored Julie.
specifically, we're trying to get on the boats to see if the construct's on the boats, if it's one of the ones we're looking for. But if there's lots of constructs on these boats, then it's safe to probably speculate that a lot of them are here for the festival, which means the town's going to get flooded with these things, and it's going to make this device a lot less accurate. So we either go ship to ship now and figure out a way to get on and off the boats and see if they're here, or we let them get off the boats and just take our chances with the detector after we go deal with the dragon, who, by the way, I never heard of a bronze dragon who is underwater that is not up to no good. I will point that out. I don't know too many bronze dragons that live underwater.
Well, there's only one way to find out about the dragon, but as far as the boats go, we could just ask some of the dock workers.
I'll look at the door. Is anyone stopping you from asking? Go.
All right, Kelly, I'm gonna walk around. I'm gonna see if I can get some of the dock workers' attentions, especially ones that might be coming from the boat. You say it was a busy uh, afternoon or whatnot, busy midday,
Yeah, it looks like they may be unloading and unloading a couple of supplies, mostly food.
and sailors do tend to talk quite a bit, or at least you would think that they would be talking about their jobs. I'm gonna see if any of them are working that boat or know what those boats are all about.
Okay. As you make your way close to one of the boats, you see there's a couple of sailors who are in the middle of swabbing the decks. Both of them are young, fairly handsome-looking human men.
Kay, it's all you.
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
Nothing. No, but I'll walk up and I'll be like, lads, any of you happen to be working either of these boats, either the Heartbreaker or what was the other one called, guys?
The
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser.
Or the Hellraiser?
One will look it down and say, well, we work with the Hellraiser, yes. How can we help you?
Well, we were looking around and we were thinking about maybe taking a voyage, but is this a merchant ship or is this a private ship?
He says, this is one of 3 ships that belong to Sea Captain Zada Zord of Luskin.
Oh, really?
Ah, that son of a bitch.
Uh, I don't suppose they're due to set sail anytime soon. We would like to see about possibly maybe booking passage.
He says, so the other one says, the ships are here as part of the voyage for the fair in town. Um, they are the number of entertainers that work aboard the ship. We ourselves are simply sailors. As far as employment, I don't know that we are seeking any of the sort at the moment.
Um, you say that you brought people for brought people for the fair, for the festival of wonders.
Yes,
Have you brought any of the cool gnomish uh devices that we've heard oh so much about? We just started to hear about this. We just moved into the city.
just a moment. You watch as one of these sailors kind of goes off to the side and pulls out a stone and begins whispering into it. While he's doing that, the other one's just kind of watching you and says, "Just a moment." You wait a few minutes. The other one eventually comes back and he says, "If you're interested in learning a bit more about the ships, the captain, Zana Zord, is willing to treat with you aboard his flagship just outside the harbor."
Really? Whereabouts might he be outside in the harbor?
"We can use a dinghy to bring you out to his flagship over there." And he points to a slightly larger ship that is hanging, that has been anchored about over here,
Okay.
kind of just off the docks.
I'm game. What about you, lads?
Nothing's stopping us. We're already going there, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but are we close enough to have heard this conversation?
Yes.
I would
Okay.
assume you were.
I didn't know how far you walked around before you started talking to people.
Like, literally, I turned around after you said that shit, and I was like, yo, who's working the docks?
Fair enough.
All right. Sounds like fair game. Hold on a minute. Let me get my sea legs about me, and I'm gonna walk over and I'm gonna pull Treverin with me. And I'm gonna say, time to divvy out those potions just in case.
You didn't grab yours off the table?
Yeah, I guess I did, but I was letting the dog out at that point.
No, I hand him his potion. I held it for him.
All right.
Yep.
Look,
So everyone has one.
if shit goes south, I say we do.
All right. Okay.
Well, look,
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
disagree.
I don't. Yeah. Okay, going.
and then we can look for the dragon.
Sounds like a plan.
After you, Stan.
Whatever.
All right, so you accept their invitation out to the big ship?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. The ships are all very, very similar in the design, but this one is much more grander and much more opulent. You can notice you immediately notice that the bulk of the individuals working on this particular ship, all human, all men.
And
And
is the device going off on his ship?
it's not going off in the flagship,
Okay.
I think. Actually, I take that back. I think it might be. Anyway.
Well, that's kind of an important question. So.
Hang on a sec. Let me double check.
Are there any war machines on this boat?
Actually, it does. Okay, my bad. So it does go off as you make your way over towards that ship.
Okay.
They do. The two sailors will direct you towards a central and large dining hall, where as you enter in, you can see there are 4 sailors just kind of standing in each of the corners of this dining hall. The dining hall is actually quite grand, and as you're seated there at the table itself, there's already a good spread of food there, and one of the sailors in the room will say, "You are free to eat until the master arrives."
Julie starts eating.
I look at the table. Do I see any cheese on the table?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not eating the cheese.
Julie grabs the largest piece of meat on the table and just starts chowing.
Do I see any cheese?
There's a big hearty turkey leg that you're able to find. It is fresh and it tastes great.
Yeah, Julie's going to town on that.
All right. As you are in the middle of chowing down on that, you begin taking an early supper, and making his way through the door, you see a rather rotund-looking man who says, "Ah, greetings, my friends. My name is Ada Zod. Welcome aboard my ships. The Grand Fleet of the Sea Maidens Fair."
I'll lean over to Rotunda and go, should we ask him about the drow?
Might not be a horrible idea.
Excuse me, Zord, if I may. I have an inquiry, if you don't mind.
What is it, my friend?
Uh, we happened to run into a drow, our first few days here in the city. Said he worked for you. I don't know if you
Ah,
recall the incident.
I was brought to my attention. If it is of any unease, I assure you he is no longer of trouble to anyone.
Joey, do I get the impression that this guy is being kind of genuine or no?
Make an insight check.
Do I get the impression this guy's fucking dead?
Oh, hold on. What did I just do? Oh. Uh,
You have no idea.
oh shit, yeah. Let me take disadvantage off. Oh,
In either case, you have
I
no
know, I know,
idea.
I know, I know. I just meant to take it off so I don't leave it on.
Yeah. He says, I'm told you are inquiring about my nimble rights.
We happen to be looking around for one that might be slightly used or maybe a bit damaged.
He says, well, if it is of any consideration, I visit the distant land of Lantan about once a year, and each time, excuse me, during my last visit I purchased 4 of them from a Lantanese wizard. There are 2 aboard my flagship here, and 1 aboard each of the other vessels.
I'm gonna.
They tend to march. They are here to march in the parade, but they are great at keeping watch. I assure you they're perfectly harmless. And as he beckons one of the sailors, you actually see one of these nimble-right creatures walk into the room. It looks like this.
Um,
And as it walks into the room, um, he walks up to Zardazord with a decanter and will quietly refill its drink before it makes its way around the table and refills yours.
Master Zord, I'm gonna come right out and ask because I'm I'm shit at lying to people. Recently, we came into the possession of the Troll Skull Tavern. Do you know of the
Oh,
place?
I have heard rumors.
Well,
I hear it's kind of a shithole.
it's a work in progress.
Julie stops eating just long enough to go. It is.
Where Julie sleeps, it definitely is. Um, just a quick question.
Yes.
Not a fortnight ago, an explosion happened not a stone's throw away from our beloved establishment. And to be quite frank with you, we are we are of the impression, or we have been told, that one of the things that was nearby was a Nimblewright, and we are looking to track it down. You wouldn't have any knowledge of this whatsoever, I would assume.
He shrugs his shoulders and says, "Ugh, every city has problems. My job as an entertainer is to make people forget about politics and explosions and things of that nature for a while."
You know what? I'm going to try this and see if it works and hope to God I roll high. If it works out. Okay, I'm going to say after the explosion happened, it seemed like it was maybe an assassination attempt. And there was a necklace that was dropped nearby. And I'm going to describe to him the necklace. And I'm going to say to him, I don't know if this means anything to you. Does it sound familiar, like something you might like? Or something that you might be trying to get a hold of?
He shrugs his shoulders and he says, "Sounds quite fancy, but I have plenty of my own jewelry, thank you."
All right, then I'm sorry for the intrusion, but I'm going to have to leave with it.
"Uh, Take whatever food you require, my friend."
Uh, Mr. Zord, since you're very familiar with these nimble rights, do you know if they come with like customization options or unique markings? You know, I
Uh,
mean,
of course, each nimble right has its own capabilities as bestowed upon it by its creator, and many creators bear their mark upon their creations.
excellent. And if I was to be interested in acquiring a nimble right for my own uh, services at the tavern, do you know of any places inside of Waterdeep that may be a reseller or a broker for such a device? I don't have the time to travel the distances that your beloved ship goes to acquire them. I'm just looking for
He
something more
leans
local.
he leans back and he says, "Well, as I understand it, the House of Hired Hands is the place that is holding the parade. They're responsible for supporting it. They worship the goddess of invention, you see, and I think they have a nimble right in their own possession at work. Um, hmm. As far as other nimble rights themselves go, it's very easy to spot one if you're looking for it. They kind of stand out amongst the crowd, though. I suppose in this time, yeah, even so, it is quite a rare creature."
Okay, well, I appreciate the information. I just I see how you're utilizing your purchases, and then it just was giving me some ideas on maybe acquiring one for to be a bouncer at our tavern. Looks like that'd be a wise investment on our point. So thank you.
Of course. I wish you great luck on your adventures, my friends. If you'll excuse me, I have quite a bit of other business to attend to. So, unless there are no other questions.
I do not have any.
Should we ask about the dragon?
Well, I don't know who all knows about the dragon because most of the guards only know about this dragon.
Yeah.
He says, a couple of the sailors were spooked by the dragon. It hasn't hurt anyone yet. It lies deep
Uh,
below the harbor."
uh,
Uh,
since you do know about the dragon, would it be possible to borrow the dinghy that brought us out here so we can go take a look at the dragon?
He says, "By all means, but the water is quite deep."
Okay. Totally understood. And I'll offer him 10 gold for use of the dinghy for the next day or so.
"Your patronage is appreciated, my friend." And he will take it.
Before he leaves, you did ask if anyone had another question. Julie will stop eating long enough to ask. The mechanical men, will they always do what they're told?
They are constructs. They are designed to do what they are told.
Would
By
they
the,
would they disassemble themselves if told?
Not unless somebody had some means of disassembling themselves. They could hide, I suppose, and wait there for an indefinite period of time. You see, they don't eat and they don't sleep, so
But would they hurt themselves if ordered to do so?
by the Creator, probably.
Julie just kind of nods and goes back to eating.
Farewell, my friends. Enjoy your meal. And he will wander off. The other sailors keeping an eye on you as you finish.
I'll finish eating anything that's not cheese until I'm full, and then I will head back to the dinghy.
I'll
Okay.
just follow.
I'm just going back to the dinghy.
Make your way back to the dinghy. The sailors will reel you out to where all they last saw is a hide or hair of the dragon.
And while the sailors there, I'll say, have you ever been exposed to a dragon that's, a bronze dragon specifically that's underwater all the time?
One of them will say, and bronze dragons are coastal dwellers. It's not unusual for them to find underwater caves in order to hide their hoard.
Fair enough. And I'll look at the group and say, well, do you want to go for a swim?
Might as well.
All right. So then
Um,
I will down my potion of water breathing, and I will dive into the water.
I will down mine as well and follow suit.
Okay. The rest of you doing the same?
Yeah, sure.
As soon as I get my screen to come back up. Yep, there we go.
Alrighty. As you down the potions, making your way deep into the water, it is kind of dark, obviously, as you make your way somewhat deep. The sun going so low, but the harbor itself is still of relative size as you're kind of peering around for a little bit. You do make your way further and further down, and you actually see, after about a half hour of travel and swimming, there's a barnacle-covered shipwreck at the bottom of the harbor, and there, swimming around it, is a young bronze dragon. As you make your way closer to the ship, it swims closely out towards you, and it says, "Greetings, young friends. It is unusual to see such fleshy things down so far into the water."
And I'll reply, greetings, Scaly One. I could say the same for you being in the harbor so close to the city. It has raised many eyebrows of the city watch, and they asked us to come and have a chat with you and see if we can understand, why you're here.
He says, "Out of curiosity, you made your way so far down. Perhaps we can make a trade. I smell some gold on you. I must admit, I could use some. How about it?"
What are we trading for here exactly?
"Information. I can tell you why I'm down here, and you provide me with a few gold."
Uh, you know what? I'm in a joyous mood being in spring. I'll toss the dragon 10 gold and saying, here you go. So
He takes it in
please
his
enlighten
claw,
us.
examines it closely, and he says, "Well, I live here." And he points at the ship.
How long have you lived here?
"Oh, not too long."
Um, I believe the city would encourage us to encourage you to possibly relocate, because it's scaring the citizens that you're around, and we don't want any violence when we're
"Oh,
looking
no,
out for
I don't
everyone's
want to."
well-being.
He says, "Oh, I don't want to hurt anybody. I just like to watch the ships as they come by. It's funny to watch so many people wandering around. Well, I can be quite more conspicuous. Just watch." And he will swim behind one of the parts of the ship, and as he swims behind it, you see coming out of the other side is what it looks like a fairly small-sized trout who swims around the ship a little bit, and as it weaves its way through some of the inner workings of the ship itself, there's another brief moment where it swims behind, and you see the young bronze dragon make his way back out again. He says, "See, I assure you, I don't
So,
mean harm to anybody."
so we just watched a young bronze dragon polymorph into a trout, swim around, and polymorph back.
Yep.
Okay. uh, well, I still, we definitely don't want to hurt you, and we don't want you to, you know, to feel threatened or anything. But I still think it'd be a good idea if maybe we relocated you to a different spot along the seacoast where you can still watch the ships, but yet outside the city walls, so so the citizens would feel safe.
Well, If it's of any consideration, I can do what I can to stay out of sight. You see, not many people come down here. You're the first I've seen in a while, aside from some weird ship.
Some weird ship, you say, and piques my curiosity. What ship are you referring to? The one that's anchored up above?
No, we're swimming in the water. I don't know where it is now.
A boat that's swimming in the water. Can you describe this boat to us?
Maybe. I still smell gold.
Julie will come up with 10 gold. Float it over to him.
Okay. He takes it, smiles, and says, "Well, it looks like a big manta ray. But I can peer inside light eyes and see elves inside."
Elves?
Yes,
This is the most peculiar description you were giving us, Mr. Dragon.
I've never seen anything of the sort.
And when you last saw it, did it go into like a cave down here, or did it go out the harbor? Yeah. Do you have any sense of maybe its last destination, or with your keen senses being down here so long, is there, yeah, any type of trail? I mean, when was the last time you saw it? I guess would be a better question.
I think I saw it about the same time that all those ships came in that you came off of. I think.
Okay.
I lean over to Kay. Is it any surprise? Elves.
and and overhearing that with my elf ears, I'll turn around and say, no different than a dwarf swimming around in water.
Hmm.
Julie scratches his head and goes, "Wait." He points at the shipwreck. The shipwreck. He goes, "That your home?
Yes.
You live there. So
Yes.
you live in the city. So you citizen of Waterdeep.
I haven't thought of it like that before.
You
I
you
like
you
you.
you law says you have rights.
Do it? That's
There's
interesting.
you should join Force Grey. You help city give you gold. Everybody happy.
Force Grey.
Your
I know
home, their
not who
home."
they are.
He goes, people on shore, your home is their home. You are all share home. You're same clan.
That's interesting. Force Grey, they protect the city?
Yes. This your city. You should help protect.
A persuasion check.
It seems like a good idea at the time.
Right until he asked you to roll.
Oh well.
right up until he asked you to roll.
Make it go ahead and make it with advantage. Just go ahead and roll it again. Because I like this line. And it's something that would appeal to a bronze dragon.
Wow! Wow!
I don't think I've rolled over a 9 all day.
He says, I don't want to scare anybody else. I'll tell you what. Did these Force Grey people send you here?
They did, and I could go back and talk to them now that we understand why you're here. And if you're willing to dedicate
Some
to the
free
protection,
time.
yeah, some of your time to protecting the city, and you're not here to cause anyone any harm, which it sounds like you're not. I think this might work out for everybody.
Tell you what. Tell them that I don't mean any harm to anybody, and I'll do what I can to hide. And should anybody happen to assault the city from the harbor itself, I will be more than happy to provide my defense of the city as one of its great citizens.
Fair enough. We will take
Good.
that message back, and And well, I guess there's no way for me to get back down here to tell you either way, but we will take your message back.
Julie will say, "What is your name?"
He says,
Or asking.
"My name is Xenophon. What's yours?"
I am Julie. Goes, Julie and Xanathon friends now.
I haven't had a friend yet. Very well. A pleasure to meet you, friend Julie. And he stretches out a large claw and kind of, taking two pincers, kind of shakes your hand.
Awesome. Travel to far exotic lands, make friends.
And
No.
if you ever want to stop by, we actually have a tavern in town as well.
I'll have to figure out how I can make my way in town without scaring anybody first.
You turn into fish. Can you turn into person? Man?
Maybe. I just don't know that I'd want to do so right now.
Oh.
I'm just saying, if you want to visit, it's an option.
Open invitation.
How about this? And he hides behind one of the ship parts, steps back out, and it looks almost like Julie. He looks almost like Julie, except it's a younger, more handsome version of Julie.
I will chime in and I'll say, since you have such a mastery of polymorph, what we'll offer you is a passphrase that should you come to the tavern, no matter what form you're in, we will gladly welcome you into our home. And password we'll give you is Draconis. So you can feel free to visit in the form that you see fit at the time.
Okay. I don't know what all that means, but it sounds great.
And I'll kind of look at the guys. I guess our job is done here. Let's return, and we'll let the Force Grade know that they have a dragon that will assist them if there's any attacks from the harbor. And I'll start swimming back up.
I guess we can ask them too if they know anything about the underwater boat.
I'd like to. Swimming back up doesn't seem like it's actually probably a very real possibility for me. But I will slowly trudge along the to see if I can get to the docks. Hopefully within the half hour that I've got allotted to me, and see if I can go up that way.
Okay. The dinghy is still kind of waiting out in the harbor, ready to take you back. So, you guys make your way back to shore, a little bit wet. The sailors keeping a little bit of a distance, but they do manage to take you back to the harbor. The potion wears off.
All right. And since that was only really an hour, I guess it's still like early evening.
Yeah.
So I will, kind of rummage through my backpack and make sure the detecting device is, easy for me to hear, and ask the group, where do y'all want to go? And we're back on the hunt for our Nimberite.
Could we possibly have someone swim underneath the boat that was giving us off a trail? Just a thought.
Well, we already know it's going to go off. I mean, and we confirmed there's at least one on there. It's not like it goes louder if there's more than one. At least that's my assumption. Is it didn't seem like it was, able to detect how many were there. It was just detect that there was one there.
Here's the problem. they've really given us no heads up on where to look for this thing, and right now this city's going to be full of them.
Right.
We don't have an accurate description of it, other than it is what it is. I don't know that this detector is going to do us that good of a what do you call it, or is really going to serve us at all. In fact, what I think we should do, as you so astutely pointed out earlier, is we should go back and contact Mr. Neverember again and ask him if he has any more clues, since they do seem to know oh so much about what is going on around the city.
I'm not opposed to that. I will also at least suggest that since we're heading back that direction, we at least take a different route than we came to see if maybe we get lucky. Or we stop by the yawning portal on the way by and see if Durnan knows anything about the construct. So we know who the construct belonged to, right? It's Grolhund Villas. I guess Valletta was the name of the chicken there. I really don't know why I have Valletta written down. But the noble, we know it belongs to the noble, right? We can deduct the reasoning of that. If she has one, then maybe other people have seen it, and maybe other people know of a unique marking we could be looking for. That would help narrow our search.
Good idea. We could stop and ask Durning if he knows anybody that works on damaged. I'm going to say robot. I know it's not a robot, but we could stop and speak to Durning and see if he just happens to know anybody in town that does work on them if it was
Or
damaged.
It's a
or
possibility.
who's part of the hired hands? The House of Hired Hands. Maybe there's someone at the Yawning Portal we could talk to.
Oh
that's
yeah. Maybe he could direct us there.
Yeah, so that might be our best bet. Plus, I'm looking over at Droloff, who looks a be weak at the knees, so it's obviously time to refill his beer. So, I think that's our best bet. So, we can head up, Snail Street or something up to the Yawning Portal and see if it goes off. We get lucky. If not, we'll ask the Yawning Portal, see if we can get some information out of Durnan and them.
Fair
And
enough.
then I will remind Julie that any more additional information from your friends, please use discretion.
Keep to yourself.
We trust you, Julie, but use discretion if you learn anything from them.
Okay. So is that what you're doing? You're heading up that way, taking a stop at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the detector doesn't go off or doesn't bring any more resonance as you make your way up there. As you enter into the inn itself, into the yawning portal itself, Julie, you don't see either Yagra or, and now I'm blanking on names. You don't see either Yagra or Dabble there.
Davil, yeah. Okay. Julie's just gonna, go in and have a seat at the bar, I guess.
Okay. So, you guys enter into the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What do you do?
I go right to Durnan since he's a little buddy. I'll sit down and said, Durnan, give Droloff a beer.
5 silver.
Droloff, give him 5 silver. I paid for the last round.
He hands you the drink.
I throw a gold down for everybody to get a drink.
He gives everybody a drink, and then also he says, "Bonnie, fix him up with a meal when you get a chance." Yes, sir. What else?
So we don't see Julie's friends, but I assume the other regular constituents are around Volo and whatnot, or I just make sure
Everybody,
that's accurate.
yeah, everybody else seems
Okay.
to more or less be here. Volos looks like he's in the middle of a meal with a couple of friends. For the most
Okay.
part, yeah, the only people that seem to be missing in this picture, as far as regulars go, is Julie's normal contacts.
Is
All
Mert
right.
here?
No, he is not.
Okay.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
So, Durnan,
Yep.
anyone in this bar, frequents this bar from the House of Hired Hands that you might be able to introduce me to?
Why do you want to talk to them?
I have some questions about nimble rights.
All those weird golden construct thingies in the festival?
Yeah, I think they would make a good bouncer, and I just was hoping to acquire some information on what it would be to purchase and maintain one. And I hear they're the go-to group to talk to about it and the different options and customizations ones may have.
The House of Hired Hands is in the Castle Ward up north.
Is it
Says,
is it hard to get in to see any of them?
it's a temple. Just walk in.
Oh, well, I certainly know my way around temples.
Says, person who maintains the nimble rights is a bronze dragonborn woman named Valletta.
Is that why I had Valletta in its name?
Maybe.
How did we cross that before?
Mm. You're the one reading your notes.
I know. That's why. Okay. Whatever. At this point.
Valletta doesn't happen to also be a noblewoman, does she?
She's a priestess in the House of Inspired Hands.
Okay. Just checking.
Wait, House of Inspired Hands or House of Hired Hands?
House of Inspired. I may have said it wrong the one time. House of Inspired Hands.
Oh, okay.
My apologies if I said that wrong.
No. I wrote both down. I just didn't know which one was which. So.
All right, ladies, how inspired are your hands feeling today?
Holla.
That was my line. No.
Oh dear.
Bonnie provides you with a small meal of fresh salted steak.
Damn, that
I
sounds
could go for
good
a steak right
now.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I know. No, I'm kicking myself because I said it.
Damn it! Now I want food.
We're almost over.
All right. Well, you haven't happened to you haven't happened to hear anybody with a real damaged nimble, right? A couple days ago. What would you say? It was like a day or two ago.
It would have
Probably
been yesterday. And
yesterday.
Durnan says, I heard about the explosion near your guys' place. There's a rumor that someone construct thing ran out. He says, if it was damaged, it wouldn't have gotten very far.
What? What do you mean? Or why do
He
you say
says,
that?
those things get damaged, they're a bitch to repair. It probably hid somewhere to try to wait until its owner could come and find it.
How? Uh, I don't know how to ask this in character. They're not like fucking Transformers, are they?
Well, they're more than meets the eye. No. They're not Transformers, no.
Okay.
They
So
are. They're basically a form of Iron Golem.
no. I gathered that much. But if okay, so to Durgan. So if it was if it was damaged, it probably wouldn't have gone far, is what you're saying?
Yep. Thing wouldn't have been able to get very far without maintenance.
Now, are we talking like a couple blocks?
Probably.
We don't happen to have any inventors around our neighborhood, do we?
No.
I don't know.
Not that we run into.
Not that I'm
What about
aware
that
of.
fella that runs the magic shop, or whatever the hell it was?
Old Zoblob?
Yeah.
Oh, he was down near here. Darian, thanks for the food, thanks for the drink. I'm gonna pull.
Thanks for the coin.
I'm going to pull Trevarian aside. I said, with that we didn't turn the detector on near the house, did we? Or near the keep? God damn it, near the inn, did we?
There wasn't necessarily a button to activate it, right? It just reacts when something's close, and
Correct.
so it was on when we walked out from our inn or from our tavern
the east.
towards the east. We didn't go west.
I think we
Or
need to look.
north.
I think we need to look
So-
around the block. The. God damn it!
Immediate neighborhood.
Immediate
Alright.
neighborhood. Thank you.
All right, well, let's do that. And I'll look at Darren and say, "Thanks for the beer," and walk out.
Okay. In the interest of time, you make your way back over towards the house.
Yep.
Hmm.
Okay. From there, where do you go?
Well, if we went east, let's see here. Hold on.
You headed east initially on Sardoon Street.
Right.
Let me ask you a
So-
question. Would it be fair enough to say that we haven't checked we have not checked the immediate vicinity, which is like up the road, up the road to the west and up the road to the north or anything like that? I'd like to
You've
just
only ever
walk.
gone south.
You know what? I have an idea. What if we go up Thunderstaff Way to here? Hold on. To here. And since the road is not blocked anymore, then we'll go west through here. Because this is where the explosion was. And
Yep.
see, and we'll just see if there's something around there triggers.
Fair enough.
Dealio?
So you're heading here.
We're heading to here.
Okay.
It might be easier with the arrows. I don't.
Basically, we're
way,
checking
and
the block
then-
right around our block, closest
Yep.
to us.
Okay. Within the immediate block, there's no trigger.
Then go one
Okay.
block north.
Okay.
So we're here.
Anywhere that might end up in a dead end, like I see where Troll Skull Alley is on the map.
Right.
If you go up one above us, right, there's two rows of houses that basically form alleyways on the east and the west. It would be here. Hold on. Motherfucker. Click.
Click and hold.
Yeah, I know. I had the wrong thing. It would be here
hmm
and here. I want to check those alleys.
Those immediate alleys didn't get anything off. I will say, as you get north, there's a faint reaction by the thing, but it's faint.
Faint, like in this area, like going this way.
As the further north you get, it begins to react, but it's faint.
Keep
Okay.
going north.
Did we
No,
ever
I-
ask Durnan
I think-
where?
I think.
Where-
Sorry,
where's-
I think what he means is that the further north we go, it gets more faint.
No, we just
No.
picked up a faint trace of it by going north.
Oh, okay.
I want to keep going that way. Actually, if it works, if it sounds like a fucking Geiger counter, right?
Mhm.
Or along those lines, let's just keep following it until it gets stronger. If
So
we're
just
picking
keep
up
going
something,
up Thunderstaff Way. Just like
Yep, it gets stronger as you make your way down that road.
so it's stronger here.
Yep.
well, we don't have to play out what road we're going up. What we can do is literally say, Okay, we're gonna follow it, and if it gets weaker, we're gonna walk away from that way. If it gets stronger, we're gonna walk toward that way.
Right. We're
Yeah.
just playing hot and cold at
Right.
this point.
Okay. Okay.
So
And I'll say this then. In the interest of time, it gets hot as you make your way towards Brath's Feather Lane, especially in an alleyway behind a couple of the buildings there. And as you make your way in, following it to its highest point where it begins to get a little loud, you open up the tin of a trash can to see a creature sprawl out of it that looks like a Nimblewright with a rapier in hand as it moves to attack you.
Huh. All right.
We'll roll initiative next time.
all right.
All
In a
right.
trash bin, you say?
Well, it was trying to hide.
Yeah. Trash bin in the same alley.
But I will say, if he got damaged way down here, he got a long ways away. More than a few blocks.
It's not really that far if you think about it. Like if he blew up, or it blew up right around in this general vicinity, that's 1 block. That's 2 blocks. That's like 3 blocks, really, 3 or 4.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. I gotta go get a shower.
I need to go to sleep.
Wash off
All
the
right.
paint.
No, I just gotta get one before tomorrow. I gotta shave.
As
All right.
you guys,
Good.
as you make your way into tomorrow, you will be. I will say after the number right, you guys are going to be hitting level 4. So start keeping in mind what you want to pick as some of your level 4 stuff.
After,
Alright.
like, directly after the nimble, right?
Yep.
Oh, fucking sweet. Okay.
I've been looking at feats and stuff all night, and I can't tell if I just want to take a straight 2 to wisdom or not. I probably
I've been
should.
debating if I want a multi-class,
I
but
am allowing it.
I also want to. Well, because like my thought is I could go into fighting or as a fighter, and then I could multi-class in great weapon fighting.
How
And
does
then just
that how does that work in 5th edition? Because we've not done any multi-classing at all. How the hell do they gain levels?
Your
whenever.
levels are. You have a collective level for your character, so you'd have, like in his case, you'd have 3 levels in Warlock and 1 level in Fighter. You have to have a certain score. I want to say it's 13, but I don't know off the top of my head. It might be higher in order to multi-class into Fighter.
In the prerequisite skill or attribute.
Right.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
So
Right.
so like for a rogue, you'd have to have so much dex, bard so much charisma, yeah, so on and so forth. And then it's basically just like whenever you would normally level. So like I'd technically be level 4, but I'd be 3 and 1, and then when I hit level 5, I could choose which class I wanted to put a point into.
Do they still do dual class, or they multi-class covers everything now?
Multi-class, I guess, kind of covers dual class, basically.
Yeah, it's the same exact thing, just a different name.
Well, no, the reason I'm asking because it didn't used to be.
Right. Yeah, multi-class is basically it. So how it's defined in 5th edition.
Fair enough. All right. Well, now I gotta go grab a shower, then I gotta come back and do the world quest that popped at 11 o'clock.
All right.
All
Have a good
right.
night, guys.
Alright, good night, everyone. Thanks, Kelly.